There we go. We're starting. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to be chairing the meeting tonight. My name's Arlene Velasco, and we'll do the normal meeting protocols. If you have a comment, try to limit it to 2 minutes, and we'll get this meeting started. We're going to do a roll call first. Curtis?
Thank you. Allen. Absent. Hasina.
Here.
Knight.
Here.
Matson.
Present.
Miranda is Miranda online? Murchie online.
Here.
Rosman online. Rosman online. Absent. St. Dennis.
Aye.
Velasco. Wasden.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Online, yes.
Oh, okay.
Bruce Wong. Kendrick Wong is absent. Linda Wong. Absent. And Welch is absent. Vice Chair Velasco, you have 9 members present. Quorum is established.
Okay, great. Then let's go right down to public safety reports. We have District 6, Lieutenant Hanuna.
Hello, good windy Thursday evening. I'm Lieutenant Hanuna from District 6, Waikiki. The stats for this month, robberies, we had 2 robberies this month. Last month we had none. Burglaries, we had 13 this month. We had 8 the previous month. Thefts, 145, 156 last month. UEMVs, 7 this month, 16 last month. But UEMV, I just say every month, is basically a car gets broken into. Assaults, 43 this month, 37 last month. Sex crimes, 7 this month, 5 last month. Bike, skateboards on sidewalks, we had 1 citation this month and 2 last month. Speeding, we had 6 citations this month. Last month we had 14. Parking, we had 1,409 citations. Last month we had 1,534. Loud muffler, prohibited noise, we had 2 this month, 10 last month. Park closures, we had 94 citations, 12 arrests this month. Last month, we had 41 citations and 6 arrests. Total calls of service, we had 4,681. Last month, we had 4,554. And OVUII, or drunk driving, DUI, OWI, 11 this month, 7 the previous month.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Michelle?
Aloha, Lieutenant. At our last meeting, I'm not sure if District 6 was present. There was a question, and I think it was misdirected to District 7 regarding Pocky Avenue and this enormous fire van that is an encampment vehicle that has been there for years. And it's been brought up at the board meeting many times,
We've been addressing that.
but nothing has happened.
We've been citing that. There was the van and the bus, right, before. So we got rid of the bus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've been addressing the van, the fire truck.
What?
There's certain things we can do. We actually been addressing that, and our major's kind of been harping us about that one. Yeah, our major, I didn't even met our major Paul Komodo. He's been
Good.
kind of consistent on us, so we are addressing that one.
Well, it's been years that this squatter has been allowed to take up the Peony Park parking spaces, and this is a protected trust land for park users. So how can this violation still be glossed over, ignored, pushed aside, postponed? I'm glad that you are now addressing this, but how could this have happened in the first place? Who authorized this sort of encroachment?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that right now.
Yeah, I know. That's why we're all asking now. Is there something city council can do about this? What other leverage do you need to assist you?
Can we get back to the next board meeting now? Let me ask our major because we have
Please.
we have the community policing team working on that.
Good.
and everything. I'll work on that.
Absolutely. Please do. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Yes, we have a, sir, want to come up, state your name?
Hi, my name is Dylan Davis. I am a St. Louis Heights resident. So in regards to this burnt bus and van, was it the same person who was claiming that his son had cancer? Is that the same situation that that fire has to do with? Because that's the burnt vehicles. Because he had a lunch, or he had like a lunch truck. Is that the Pocky thing? Yeah, that you guys are discussing. Oh, is it a separate one? Oh, I thought.
No, there's something else.
Well, it's given in the same situation of what's going on with someone being in the vehicle. Can you get it coordinated so that the officers that arrive have paperwork to arrest the person on site? Because the issue is, as long as the guy is in the car, you cannot tow it because you can't tow a person in the car. So if he's squatting in a car, you have to figure out what is the paperwork you need to file so that you can arrest on site when you go to do the pickup of the vehicle. So that way, when he's there, you tell him, just like when you guys do the evacuations, when you guys do the cleanups, you tell them, hey, we're gonna do a cleanup. If you stay in our way when we're doing the cleanups, we will arrest you. So why can't you get the paperwork where in that specific area, I know it's a public park area that he's parked in, but because this specific vehicle is being targeted for tow and you can't tow with him in there, you do not have the paperwork that says, hey, we're here on this date at this time, and whoever's in this vehicle at the time, that's who we're going to arrest. He has the opportunity at that moment, whoever's in the vehicle has the opportunity at that moment to vacate. And at the same time, you have the tow truck come to grab the vehicle and get it out of there. Why isn't that coordination being done? Is my question.
Well, thank you for your question. You just can't go over there and arrest him just because he's in his vehicle.
That's how we're squatting the parks. We're going to not park.
Yeah, but I mean, so it's only a violation. That's what it
Right.
is. It's not an arrestable, a violation. It's not
You know,
an arrestable offense.
Sir, Sir Dylan, you need to come to the mic if you're going to be
Yeah.
speaking.
So with the park clearances that you guys do for cleanup, you tell them if they stay, they can be arrested. Here's the paperwork. We're going to clean out this area. If you stay, we're going to arrest you. That's why the homeless vacate. And then you guys clean up the area and then they come back in, which is a problem that they've been saying, why are you telling them? Because by law, in order for you to clean up the area, you have the orders to clean up. You have to tell them that you have the opportunity to vacate. If you stay, we will arrest you. That's why the homeless leave. And then after you guys do the cleanup, they come back. So that's why someone squatting in a car, which is not a domicile, it's targeted for removal. You should be able to present the same paperwork you do on the homeless cleanups and tell them, hey, we have papers, you have to evacuate. If you stay, you will be arrested. It's the exact same thing why you do when the homeless cleanups, you tell them, if you stay, we will arrest you. But that's why they vacate. And then when you pick up all the homeless trash, they come back and they re-squat the areas that they're sitting on in the parks. Just like I witnessed it right there on the King Street exit today. HTM came in, they had the police people there. All the homeless people came out under the bridge. They came in and grabbed all the junk that was brought in by the homeless people. And then after they were done, the homeless people went back under the bridge.
It's first of all, when they're within the park, they fall within the park rules. And under the park rules, there is laws under the park. When he's in a vehicle on the side of the road, it's totally different laws. So those laws don't affect him like a park rules and regulation laws do.
Comment,
All right, Michelle.
whether or not it's in the park, these are laws that govern our streets.
No, I understand that, ma'am, but
And even worse in the park because they're squatting on very limited park user parking. The judge has ruled that you do not pave over the park anymore. It has limited parking places. That's what you use for your park users. That's Department of Parks and Recreation. As far as HPD is concerned, you have a long-term violation that has not been enforced, taking up public parking places for living purposes on this street. So we've got to clarify this. I am fully supportive of this resident and his logic because it makes total sense. He's already outlined a procedure that apparently hasn't occurred to anybody yet. So let's
So
get
your
together.
procedure, I understand what you're saying, but we can't do what you do because it doesn't fall under the scope. Okay, because just because you're in your car on the side of the road, you don't fall under within the park. You have to be within the park to fall under the park rules. Just because you're on the side of a park,
No.
you don't fall under the rules. I'm sorry to tell you that, man, but that is the law.
It is public parking. It's public street parking. It just happens to be
So
in the
also
park.
different laws.
May we get together with your captain? I think we can all work with him.
Issue is the vehicle can't be towed. Legally, you cannot tow if a person is in the vehicle. It's a vehicle, it's not a house. We use things like he's squatting, but no, that's not what it is. It's a vehicle. If he's in it, the tow truck driver cannot legally tow, he will get in trouble. So the tow truck driver, which I think is All Island Tow, that's the company, needs the assistance of HPD to clear the vehicle. And regardless if he claims it's his vehicle or not, or if it's a random person squatting in the vehicle now, or a random person that's inside the
Chair,
vehicle.
point of order.
Okay,
Yeah, let's, can we move on? This needs to be
Madam
taken up.
Acting Chair, I would like to recommend that this go to committee and that we invite the police captain for District 6 to come to this meeting to discuss the situation. Obviously, our highly respected police officers are messengers to this board. We need to get together with seeking solutions from decision makers. Thank you.
I heard that the lieutenant was gonna get back to you with this solution. Isn't that what was stated? I think that we should move on from this discussion and we will, if it makes sense, maybe we can take it up with the lieutenant outside of this meeting. And, before, I mean, I think this can be resolved without having a special meeting just for this.
Well, perhaps if we could invite the captain to our next meeting, or even the new police chief, because he's going to neighborhood board meetings now too. So we could bring this up with him.
That would be make sense. And let him know ahead of time that we are gonna discuss this.
so I was at the previous, I was at another board meeting at the McCully Neighborhood Board meeting, which happened on July 26th. And there was something that specifically came up with Acting Major Lieutenant Thompson, who said that even if we had video evidence of someone chopping up a moped, they couldn't do anything because in the end, it's hard to locate the owners of the moped. But I actually looked into what that person was saying, and he's wrong. Because under reasonable, articulable suspicion of a crime being committed, officers have the right to show up and investigate and tell that individual who's chopping up a moped, hey, what are you doing? This looks suspicious. It's potentially looking like a crime. We have authority to give you legal commands, such as stop chopping up the moped. Now, in the situation with this guy in the car that's burnt on the side of the road,
Okay, let's, you know what, this has
I'm-
gone on.
well, what I'm
for
trying to
a
say
long
is,
time.
what I'm trying to say is, it's real simple for the officer to show up with the tow truck and say, hey, we
know-
had multiple calls about this vehicle.
I'm gonna interrupt you because you have said the same thing
No,
several
no, I didn't.
times.
This is actually something different. which is because a caller calls in on the car, they have probable cause to go to the car and say, under reasonable articulable suspicion, as we investigate this car, we're asking you to step out of the vehicle. We want to investigate what's going on and then tow the vehicle away with the tow truck there. They legally have that right to do that. The officers don't need actually even paperwork. They have the right to investigate under RAS.
All right, thank you. Let's definitely move on. Does anybody online have a question for the officer? The lieutenant? Okay, thank you. Okay, we have another gentleman. Please come up and state your name.
Hi, my name is Gilbert. I had a question and had some concerns about homeless encampments under the footbridge by Second Avenue on both sides. Oh. Oh, okay, I can wait then.
Okay, all right, thank you. Lieutenant Thompson? Okay, now we move on to District 7, Lieutenant Thompson.
Hi. For stats for July, we had 3 vehicle thefts, 2 burglaries, 23 thefts, and 5 unauthorized entry to motor vehicle cases. Total calls for service for the month, 5,475. We can proceed with the questions if that gentleman had questions about the Second Ave pedestrian.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, my name is Gilbert. Sorry, I didn't realize this was part of District 7, but thank you for taking my question. So we've been having problems with homeless encampments on both sides of the pedestrian bridge on Second Avenue. So recently we've had cases where, well, they've been stealing water for years, and most recently they've been damaging our regulator. So now our house doesn't have water because of the fact that we tried to prevent the homeless people from stealing water. So I was wondering if there's anything that can be done to patrol that area more often and prevent the homeless encampments from getting established. I know it's a problem by Kamiki High School and also underneath the freeway area, but it's kind of creeping up to where we live now. So I wanted to be able to see if there could be enhanced patrols in that area. My
I will
second
have-
question.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'll have patrol make more checks in that area. I know our ATV team and community policing team, that's part of their circle of, they clear them out from Kamiki High School, the Harding Ave area, part of that freeway overpass in Harding. And then the opposite side on Waialae Ave side of Second Ave. They clear it off pretty often, but like we clear them and they come right back.
I know. It's kind of like
So
chasing.
if you see them tampering with your water,
They
you see them
tampered with
tampering
the
with your
water and they
problems,
also broke the regulator to the house.
call 911 right away.
We did. Yeah, we did that too. It's just very frustrating. It's been going on for years and it's getting worse. My second question, actually, first I want to thank you for all the enforcement on those e-motorcycles. I've noticed a dramatic reduction in the people that are riding those motorcycles. However, I do still see a group of hardcore riders that ride with impunity. In fact, just coming to this meeting alone, I saw 3 of them riding on Kapahulu Avenue, as well as 2 officers. But I don't know why the officers are not intersecting with these riders or doing any kind of enforcement on them. So without the enforcement, they continue to ride with impunity. And it is dangerous because they typically don't have lights, wear black, and do all kinds of wheelies. In fact, I've got passed by e-motorcycles with them driving on the opposite side of the road in the wrong direction, which is very interesting. But anyway, I just wanted to thank you, but also request that additional enforcement be placed on these hardcore riders. And those statistics that you reported and the last officer too, I wasn't sure which category these e-motorcycle or e-bike enforcements fall under. I don't know if you have an explanation or answer for that.
The different bikes qualify under different categories. A lot of the ones that we see we treat them as motorcycles. So when they do stop, oftentimes they don't. And the officers will not give chase because it's just for a traffic violation, the risk is not weighs out the reward. But they usually cite them under motorcycle rules of not having insurance, a license. Oftentimes they're impounded or they towed away for not being registered, which is probably the biggest I guess, consequence, so to speak. So I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of them aren't doing you don't see it as much, but I see it out there too when I'm not working, and it can be scary at times. I agree.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, they are motorcycles. They don't have pedals, they have pegs, and they're clearly dirt bikes. So
Right, like
pretty
electric
obvious.
dirt.
Electric dirt bikes, yeah. Actually, I've seen motorcycle ones too, including four-wheel off-road vehicles as well, driving down Kalanione Highway and so, but I don't know, for some reason they are allowed to do that. But anyway, I'll turn the mic back over. Those are my two questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions in the audience? Yes, please come up.
Hey, acting Major Lieutenant Thompson, how you doing? So one of the things is, on July 30th, the night of, your officers responded to an argument. And by the time the officers arrived, the argument is already over. The fighting had ceased. And in the particular situation, there are two separate roommates that lived in the unit. So one thing is when your officers arrived, they definitely talked to the person that was outside of the unit, who was, told to leave. You don't belong here. You don't have a lease here, whatever. But when other officers showed up, they wanted to re-engage and escalate the situation. And I know they got a phone call for probably a domestic argument, but by the time they showed up, the argument was over. There's a second tenant that has rights too. He had texted me and said he didn't want to have any type of interaction with police. The argument is over. Everything is calmed down and it just needs time to chill out. One of your officers says, "Who the fuck are you? Why the fuck do we have to listen to you?" And was wanting to re-escalate the situation. I told him, well, here's what it is. I told you what the legalities of the situation are. You don't have to listen to me. I'm not telling you how to do your job. But if you want to break what the rules are and what the laws are, go ahead. But as far as I'm concerned, I already got confirmation the argument is over. One person's outside. I'm asking her to vacate. She doesn't belong here. She's not on lease. And I'm just telling you what the actual legalities are. Why do your officers feel that instead of following the
Chair,
law?
point of order.
Okay.
Oh, is there a serious
Is there a
question
formal
here? Are you
complaint?
just trying to
My
yell at
question, I got
HPD?
interrupted.
Well,
So I was giving the setup the stage and I said, why is it that
Why is
when-
this a neighborhood board question?
it,
This is some,
I could just,
Chair, the
yes.
speaker, I think needs
I,
to handle this at a
to
different
be,
venue.
all right, I would like, you to ask a question.
Yeah, the question is this.
And did you file a police report? I mean, it sounds
I
to
didn't
me,
have to file a police report, but my question is, why do your officers act under impunity and I'm not following de-escalation tactics?
I can't comment on what happened that day. I don't know the circumstances or what the information on this case was. If you felt like they behaved acted improperly, you have recourse by going through the professional standards office or going through the police commission.
Well,
I
what I'm
can't
saying
comment
is
on why they
they're
said.
supposed to follow a standard of
Yes,
de-escalation.
I
Why
think-
are they trying to escalate the situation?
So if you feel like they acted outside of that, then you have recourse by going through the professional standards office or through the police commission.
So, but then,
I can't even comment to why they acted that way. I wasn't there, so I don't
so
understand.
they're actually making problems
have-
versus solving problems, which is they came, they saw no one was injured. They told
Okay.
multiple times that the argument is over.
all right.
So why not de-escalate?
Okay, we have to move on.
Well, I'm just pointing out. This is
You've
inconsistency.
pointed it out already.
And then there's other things too that I will.
You need to go to as the lieutenant suggested.
This needs to be brought up at board meetings because once you get faced with it, when you have a problem, you need to know how to interact with. police officers.
I'm not going to get engaged in this. We're going to move on.
Madam Acting Chair, point of order. I believe that a lot of questions from the community can be best served by first going to the Traffic and Transportation Committee or other committees to research and take in all the
Inputs.
details and then come to the board with the parties involved and make recommendations based on their findings. That's how we handle our committees. I think because this would be taking up a lot of time and it could be a critical issue. Not all of us have experienced everything that's been said tonight, but there seems to be a pattern. So let's see what our committee can do to research and evaluate and make recommendation to the board based on our community.
All right, I
district
think that's a
concerns.
good solution, Michelle. Thank you. So you'll set up the traffic committee?
Margaret, and she'll be back.
Okay. We will do that. Any other questions online for the lieutenant? Okay, thank you very much. Lieutenant Thompson.
Before I go with this storm approaching, just a quick FYI that a lot of information can be got through Honolulu Alert. You can go to hnlalert.com or text HNL Alert to 888-777 and sign up to get alerts on shelters and storm updates and stuff like that. It's good. It's good information out there, especially with we're in our hurricane season. But that's all I have.
All right, thank you very much. Lieutenant Thompson. Okay, next we're going to go on to board action items. Is there anyone here from St. Louis Heights? Did you want to run for a board?
And Arlene?
Yes?
A suggestion, and I don't know how Rafia feels about this, but she is St. Louis Heights
Yeah, and
sub-district.
we're having
And-
a meeting about flood mitigation in the Conneaut area. Very important because of the flooding. I just want people to come or contact me.
Laura,
Yes,
point
so
of
I don't
order.
know.
Wait,
I-
excuse me, who's speaking?
Laura
It's Laura
Ruby.
Ruby, and I'm
She's
sorry.
she's out of sequence.
We're on filling a vacant position.
I'm going to have to go, but I just want to alert somebody to contact me because of the flood mitigation we're working on in the Conneaut area. That's all.
All right,
Okay.
let's move
Okay.
on.
Laura, you can put
Okay,
that in the
thank you.
chat.
If I don't know how to work the chat on this phone. Okay, I'll try. Okay, thank you.
Madam Acting Chair, may I just continue extremely briefly? I would like to see what might be accomplished by inviting Rafia back to her St. Louis Heights sub-district seat because she did run at large because there was a vacancy in Kapahulu, and there are other candidates they weren't in Kapahulu because this went before the neighborhood commission, but there were other candidates interest in the at-large seat as well. And I just want to bring this up to Rafia. It's her choice. And it's a way to fill that seat and also bring other qualified candidates to the board for the Kapahulu sub-district.
Michelle, I'm not sure about the rules on that.
I'm not sure at all. I can,
We can consider it at
We
the
can-
next meeting to change it to a,
Right, it would
change it.
probably have to go before the commission again. And that is the whole commission, not just single members.
okay.
yes.
I was
Benji?
gonna say, rather than moving Rafia to the sub-district seat, we could just request the commission to make the current sub-district seat into an at-large seat.
I think Rafia has shown great qualifications and knowledge about our entire community sub-district, including her own sub-district 3. And I would like that to be her choice. We don't know who we're going to get as volunteers for at-large. We could get people supported by PRP and other people. So
Okay, I think
Let's check it
Rafia
out.
has something to say.
No, I don't know actually what is this, how I move again to this. This is all commission can decide it. I have no problem. So I will be always in the neighborhood board. So wherever I am, I'm always there. So it is commission.
Yeah,
should
we're
decide.
filling the vacant St. Louis
That's
seat
right.
today. So next meeting, we'll have will we have a discussion on this or we'll have an answer? Yes. Okay.
Oh, it's in regards to filling the St. Louis seat. I guess I can fill it then. Yeah.
Have to double check if you would.
I'm right above Hanawai.
You're right above Carmel. Okay. Let's do this.
For those online, we're confirming residential, like qualification for sub-district 1.
You know you're billing. He lives in St. Louis, like.
Yeah, you verify.
Yes.
So may we hear from the candidate as to his interests and his motivation?
My interest is you have a vacancy. I'm willing to fill it. I've held a position on a board for my HOA or my AOAO. And usually my time gets taken up with a lot of that. Well, not a lot of it, but I have like a volunteer stuff that I do. It does take up a little bit of time. You need a vacancy filled and I'm above Kanewai and you guys are talking about the water mitigation. That's directly where I'm at. I am like 2 blocks up above Kanawai Park.
And as far as water mitigation, are you talking about storm drains in the LOI Canal and the problems there, or the proposed holding basins that the residents have been very concerned about? There are many issues to do with that area.
I'm actually very familiar with the Alawai area. Just recently I was asked to take a look at something that was going on with the gardens that they have right there next to Alawai in the park. I'm not 100% sure of all the issues that have to do with the basin. But directly in my neighborhood, I do see exactly where the problems are with the houses that are along Kanawai Park, that when flooding does happen, main breaks, sewage overspill, those houses get trampled with water. And there's only like 4 or 5 houses right next to Kanawai Park that get hit, but unfortunately they're getting slammed by water coming down the mountain. I can take a look into what you want to present about the basins. Sure, I can see what I can learn about it. I know nothing about the basin issue.
That has subsided a bit because of residents in the area. Another question I have is, what are your views toward aggressive, well, I won't say aggressive, but redevelopment of our established communities for the purpose of higher density housing?
So in that situation too, I have a property that falls under the neighborhood of McCully neighborhood. That's four units down from the Kool Place development. They haven't finalized plans. There is some things going on with Quid Pro Quo. They are being asked to do the concrete from where Kool Place is going down along Kapiolani to Date Street. And at the last neighborhood board meeting for McCully,
Yes.
I told general contractors involved in it that well, first we found out that their idea was to just do asphalt. And I said, well, shouldn't you be consulting with each of the units in that area? Because we've been asking for concrete. If they're gonna do work, they should be talking to each of the property owners in that area where they, for some
Okay,
reason.
I think right now
It was more general than that, as far as your view of developers coming in and proposing
Point of order,
yeah,
Chair.
yeah,
higher
Michelle.
density development. This is key because it's going to affect my vote, okay? What
Wait,
are you,
before
what
we
is your
vote,
view?
before we vote, we have to we have to have a nomination.
Okay. Well,
So let's have a nomination and then we'll have, you can ask another question. Anybody willing to nominate? Do we have to? Okay, Dylan has been nominated. No second is needed. And so,
Just to finish the question, this is a larger issue than just a 400-foot sky rise that is now going to be obliterating our view plane from Diamond Head. It is a question about encroachment into our established communities, our stable communities such as Kapahulu, by developers proposing higher density units on single family lots. And in the name of more housing, what happens to the established community when higher density takes over?
So I have actually, there's multiple facets of what you're talking about that has been addressed. I even tried to address Tommy Waters about the situation too, and he has no solution for it either. The issue that I think that is wrong is that the actual property value keeps going up versus where I told Tommy the solution would be that the value of the property at the tax level should remain from when the who purchased it, and that then you have the percentage that they're changing on how much they can charge as a percentage for the property value tax. So now you get affected both ways. Oh, we're not going to change the percentage this year, but we're going to up the property value. So even though the percentage is changed, the amount went up. Versus if the actual amount stays the same and there's fluctuation on.
Chair,
okay,
Oh,
sorry, Dylan, there's actually a resolution later about this.
okay.
Yeah.
So the thing is, what the thing of that she's getting at, which is really complicated, is because as more dense housing, more buildings, or larger giant monster homes come in, those property values affect the existing community, which is what which the simple solution is stop changing for tax purposes. The year from when a person buys in, only fluctuate the percentage, but you'll still be, so instead of being brought up to 2,000 per se, let's say when you purchase your house, which is something that's done in California, which is a similar solution,
Dylan,
is the value.
sorry, I know you want to answer it, but just because I know we're going to
Well,
talk about this
that's
later.
my point.
No, and I understand, but because it's literally on the agenda today.
it is. We have a
And
resolution.
Morgan and California are mentioned in the reso. That's why I'm cutting you off now. Understood, Michelle. Understood.
All right.
We
So
understand.
now- Okay, we're going to do a roll call vote.
Thank you. So Dylan Davis is the nominee to fill the vacant Subdistrict 1 seat, St. Louis Heights, Kaneohe. I'll take your votes. Just say Davis if you're voting in favor of the nominee. Is Allen online? She's absent. Hasina? Aye. Knight? Davis. Matson? Davis. Miranda?
Abstain.
Abstain. Murchie? Murchie? Online?
Same.
Abstain. Rosman? Absent. St. Dennis? Velasco? Abstain. Wasden?
Abstain.
Abstain. Bruce Wong?
Aye.
Aye. For Davis. Is Kendrick Wong or Linda Wong online? They are absent, and Winston Welch is absent. On a vote of 5 aye and 4 abstaining, that does not meet the 8 votes needed for quorum.
But we can take this up at the next meeting.
Yes, if you can come back next month and try again if you'd like. Yeah, thanks for putting yourself out there.
Not a problem.
Okay, now we're going to move to approval of more meeting minutes. We have Thursday, November 13th, Thursday, December 11th, Thursday, January 8th, 2026, Thursday, February 12th, 2026, Thursday, May 14th, 2026, and Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Now, do we vote? Okay, Michelle, do you have something to say?
Well, I think I said it at the last meeting. We did not get from the chair the correct AI summary or transcript to be able to compare the minutes. And as you know, I have posted, as former secretary, I've posted red line minutes online that you can refer to show where there are huge gaps, including comments from our acting chair. There are huge gaps, and I reviewed this month's, last July's minutes as well, and more gaps or transposing when people spoke. So there's a bit of disorganization in these minutes, and we really need to rely on an objective either transcript or summary apart from the neighborhood commission's minutes that seem to be somewhat selective.
Okay, I think Rafael has a comment. Rafael.
So, Member Madsen, so which one you are referring for this? Which minute you are referring? There's a NOC or there's?
I was just giving general comments from reviews and what I know about the minutes
Mhm.
from as having this position previously. This takes a lot more refinement as far as assistance is concerned. And you and I can't do it all.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be taking up 8-hour days trying to do this.
Yeah, we did.
So I had recommended to the chair that he's very adept with AI, and that he provide his very objective format, either in transcript or in summary,
Okay.
for us to compare the NCO's minutes.
Well, since the chair isn't here, since Winston isn't here.
It was brought up at the last meeting.
Okay. Is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
I motion to adopt the minutes as corrected in the drive.
I also, adopted this minutes from this.
Oh, which minutes are these?
Secretary,
Which date?
July 9. July 9.
And these are yours
That's my,
as you reviewed them.
yeah, okay. So I already sent it to Curtis, share with that, yeah? So it's, for me, it's much more adoption.
So is there so we have a motion to accept all the meeting agendas? That's what,
I'm going to try that motion.
okay.
Does Rafael second?
Yes, second.
Okay, we'll have a vote.
Voting on July?
No, we're voting on all of,
All of them. All 6. Mm.
yes. Oh, let's ask for any objections. Online?
Complete.
Okay, so it's,
Sorry, did we hear votes from anyone else? Yes.
we can do a roll call vote.
Objection to the adoption of the meeting minutes listed on the meeting agenda, November 2025, December 2025, January 2026, February 2026, May 2026, and July 2026. This motion is to adopt all of the meeting minutes as corrected if they were uploaded to the Google Drive, as well as the July meeting minutes, which were reviewed by Secretary Hasina,
There were no corrections to the listed minutes except the July minutes,
except the July. Okay.
but I left that to Rafia as the new secretary.
Okay. And the minutes can always be corrected in the future if somebody notices a typo or.
Yeah, we can.
And I will email Winston and the secretary the transcripts
Okay.
that are not transcribed.
It's not typos.
Right, by the,
It's far more than typos. Thank you.
Alan is absent. Hasina,
Yeah.
aye. Knight, Matson, no. Miranda,
Aye.
Murchie,
Aye.
Rosman, absent. St. Dennis,
Aye.
aye. Velasco, aye. Wasden,
Aye.
Bruce Wong,
Aye.
aye. Kendrick Wong, Linda Wong, and Winston Welch are absent. 8
here.
aye votes, 1
Here.
no vote.
No.
Oh,
I'm-
hi, Linda.
Aye.
How do you vote on
Again,
the approval of
I-
the meeting minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Huh?
Do you vote aye, no, or abstain?
I vote aye.
Aye. Okay. That changes it to 9 aye votes, 1 nay vote. The meeting minutes are adopted.
Okay, great. All right, let's move on to report and findings of our property tax committee. Bruce, I know you made changes and distributed it to everybody, and it's on the drive.
The property tax committee passed it when we had our meeting 2 weeks ago. And let me just read the title: urging the city and county of Honolulu to implement a new property tax assessment methodology for owner-occupied real property in the city and county of Honolulu. Does everybody have a copy of this or access to it?
Yes, there's a link on our agenda. If somebody online hasn't seen it yet, you can look it up right now. So if anybody has any questions, this is the time for discussion. We had a very good meeting, I thought.
Yes,
Weeks
very
ago.
good meeting.
So any discussions? Do you want to give a summary of the meeting, Bruce?
The summary of the meeting, we had a big discussion on especially changing and adding things into the reso. But then it was decided that it would distract from the purpose of the reso, which is really addressing the methodology as to how property taxes are derived. And especially with the help of Michelle, in the second, third whereas, the city and county of Honolulu calculates residential property taxes by averaging the market sales of surrounding homes within a given area. And as a property's tax assessed value increases based on surrounding sales, the tax burden on the property owner also increases, potentially taxing Kupuna and Kamaina homeowners out of their generational homes. And to me, that has been the crux of the problem for the last 5 decades or more. And we're constantly getting taxed. And what was brought up earlier, that as properties increase, our property taxes will just keep on going up. And there's no limit as to how high it'll go. And especially with outside sources, investment monies coming into Hawaii that we cannot compete against. So we have to do something to limit it. And that's why in the be it further resolved, can I take the time to read it? Okay. Be it further resolved that the city and county of Honolulu is strongly urged to implement a new real property tax assessment methodology for owner-occupied real property residential in the city and county of Honolulu. And the purpose of this methodology is to encourage kupuna and kamaaina families to hold on to and pass on their homes for generations to come. And that's called generational rights of survivorship, thereby encouraging home ownership and helping Hawaii to retain more of its kamaaina population as follows. The tax assessed value for residential property shall be limited to the sum of the last sales price of the residential property. Number two, the value of any substantial improvements to the property. And number three, an allowed increase in the total amount of the real property tax of up to 2% annually, or the annual inflation rate, whichever is less, for each year since the date of the last sale of the subject residential property.
Okay, great. Thank you, Bruce. I think do we have to? Okay, Linda?
Can you repeat that? I didn't quite get it.
What do you want repeated, Linda?
Pardon?
What do you want repeated?
The reason for comparing it, I think was the last part. Therefore what?
Do you have a copy of the resolution, Linda?
No, I don't.
It's in the Google Drive. I think Curtis is pulling it up. Or he's dropping. Curtis is doing something.
I think it might be easier if you could read it, Linda. There he is. He's
Yeah.
showing it to you.
Okay. Thank
Any
you.
public testimony? Yes, Jason.
Hi, good evening. Jason Liang speaking. So I just wanted to point out some things. Well, just for transparency, I do work for the City and County Real Property Assessment Division, but I'm here today in my personal capacity as a private citizen, and I will be only drawing from information that's publicly available. So I just want to point out that in this resolution here, it states that the assessed values are derived from averaging sales prices. That is not correct. But also that if the intention is to keep homeowners in their homes and assist locals, I think that this resolution falls short of that. I think in many ways, if we look to California and their Proposition 13, we see that Proposition 13 pushes the tax burden onto younger folks, which if our intention is to keep young locals in Hawaii, this will not do that. See, public services are also tied to property values. So, I think that it's reasonable and fair that your taxes are based off your property value. However, I do understand that because of outside factors, people with lots of money buying up homes, that in turn drives up our assessed values and our property taxes. What I proposed, I'm sorry I couldn't make the last committee meeting, but what I would propose is that we pass a resolution for the city council to limit our property taxes to 1% via the tax credit and to raise the cap on that as well. So increase the ceiling for the qualifying amount. That way, young homeowners and folks who have purchased their properties for a long time, they will not be pushed out of their homes because of the tax value of the property. I'm also available to take any questions.
Michelle?
Yes, thank you, Jason. How long have you been with the tax division?
6 years.
Okay. Are you aware of a certain situation where somebody from out of state came in to purchase a residential property? I think it might have been a large 14,000 square foot lot, single family home. And they paid $1 million over asking price. And when our taxes went up within the given area, I called the tax department and I said, why have our taxes gone up? And they explained to me that they take a certain area and they look at all the sales. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then they average that. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
What is correct?
So the Real Property Assessment Division on their website, so again, I'm only drawing from publicly available information. They weigh the sales based off of what they believe to be most comparable to the subject property. So it is not just gathering 5 sales and averaging them out.
Okay.
There are calculations added in there that they use to calibrate it.
Understood. So there's sort of a defined method to that, but still it is averaging on the sales price of a property within, a given range of homes. And that's what raises our property taxes.
Yeah, I was,
And as the resolution states, there's a much more equitable approach than just using sales prices of homes that are overpaid for to generate more taxes for the city. We can't afford to pay these taxes anymore. We're going to have to leave. Is that what? Oh, yeah, that's.
Do we need to take this up at another subcommittee meeting?
That's what they want. They want us to leave and they want all these new people to come in who don't know any difference.
Dylan?
You know, I just want to make,
All right, since we do have someone here from the real property,
sorry, you cannot, please do not identify me as somebody from the city and county. I'm here in my personal capacity. So you can call me someone who's knowledgeable in real property tax.
oh yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, Jason,
Thank
since
you.
you're knowledgeable in real property tax, given your situation, what is the easiest way?
Chair, point of
when we
order.
get the-
Okay, I think this, we
All
have
comments should be addressed to
digressed.
the chair.
Okay, the question, it's Anthony.
So,
Let's, okay, this is what I would propose doing. I think this is a pretty involved situation. And I think it's best that this get resolved in a committee meeting. And
would you like to know what
Be-
my question is?
you could ask me a question and we'll see if we're going to take it up or if we're going to wait till we have another committee.
Well, what I was gonna ask is, we get those notices by the end of the year. What is the most effective way to challenge what the increase in the actual tax assessed real property value is, and not put our effort into it just to be told, no, we're still gonna go ahead with the assessed taxed? Why can't we challenge it and
That's okay. This is definitely a much bigger discussion and it's a committee meeting.
Point of order, Chair. Can
Yes.
Bruce respond to the comment about the resolution he wrote? Because that was the initial comment that was brought by Jason.
Okay.
Just that.
All right. Thank you, Angie.
Oh, he had the thing about just it was average versus comparable rates for how they determine property tax. It was in the 3rd paragraph. Oh, okay. Okay. I just wanted to give the opportunity.
well, you know, what really drove me to work on this reso for a couple years is these 2 statements from community members. And one statement, I'll just read it. Hypothetically, I am being taxed on money I never made. Let that sink in. If I bought my property outright for $85,000 in 2009. Now the county says it's worth $545,000. Did I sell it? No. But my taxes jumped like I did. If my stock portfolio doubles, I don't pay taxes until I sell. So why does owning a home work differently? Why am I taxed on unrealized gains? A house is a home where people live, but you don't truly something if you can be taxed out of it. This isn't about services or inflation. It's about being charged for value you never received. And another comment from another community member, just because my neighbors sold their property 4 times in 50 years and I never did sell, why should my valuation require me paying for my neighbor's profiteering? And basically, that is what's happening.
Yeah,
And that's why we get priced out of our homes.
Okay, Jason, do you have a question for Bruce?
May I make a comment?
Yes.
So in response to that, I understand the feeling of unfairness, but we cannot measure intent. If you have no intent to sell your home, but it's worth a lot, that is not something we can measure, and you are still accruing wealth. You know, if you have no intention of ever selling your home, I understand, but that still doesn't remove the fact that you are accruing wealth. You could sell it at any given time, and you can also borrow against it via a home equity loan. And, you know, as time goes on, inflation goes up, your property receives city services. So I think it's fair that you continue to pay taxes to continue to fund city services. But again, I understand that the assessed values are pushing people out of their homes, but my counter offer or my counter argument is to limit our property taxes to our household income.
That's good.
But you know, what was discussed in our meeting at Kaimiki
Yeah.
Library was that Jason's idea is a good idea, but he needs to have his own resol. This is a simple resol. It addresses the elephant in the room, which is rising property sales. And rising property sales determine what our taxes will be. And it never stops. It never ever stops. And so, Jason, I think your idea is worth going through and developing another resol, but not infiltrating this resol that we've worked on.
This one is more of a to stop existing, homeowners who have been here a long time from losing their property. We don't want that to happen. And your idea of helping the young people get into the housing market is a great idea. And I agree, we can have another resolution, and we should. We should make that a priority so we can give both to the city council.
Can I make a final comment?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I want to be respectful. I don't mean to hijack anyone's resolution or, their work. It's just that I feel that this resolution, we have seen similar issues in the mainland in California with Proposition 13 and how it affects the tax base. If this resolution were to go on to then be passed, I feel like it would do irreparable damage to the housing market here and to young buyers, with all due respect.
Chair, may I be recognized?
Yes.
I'm in strong
Yes, please.
opposition to this
Anthony.
resolution. I'm a renter and, obviously, if this resolution were to go on and become ordinance, my landlord's property taxes would go up and they would raise my rent. And similarly, as I look to buy a home in the future, if houses currently held by resident owners, their property taxes freeze, they'll be less inclined to sell. And that would mean that all the other houses available on the market would be selling for more. They would become more expensive if this were to happen. So I'm in strong opposition. Thank you.
Madam Acting Chair, I fail to understand that logic because the discussion has not centered on those particular issues. If we could get a recording of
I'm
that,
happy to
I'll be
respond
I'll be
to
happy
clarify for
to.
her.
Yes,
No,
I
well,
need some clarification.
yeah, when we get the minutes, we look at the recording, I'll be happy to respond point to point on that. Meanwhile, we have a resolution before us
Right,
that has a great deal of merit. Thank you.
okay. Is there, okay.
Chair,
any
sorry,
minutes to the discussion?
just want to make sure that you recognize that both my comments were germane.
Okay, we will.
Your comments are noted. Thanks, Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony, I understand what you were saying and what we're getting at, and I understand where he as a renter trying to get in to be a homeowner, where that's coming from. But then what about we spend time putting in resolutions, but another person who's on the board might actually be able to answer this is Margaret Murtry. She's a real estate agent. Why can't we get this into a nonprofit status of trusts for Kapuna so that they don't have to pay any taxes? Now, again, that's another thing that's going to be brought up, that this is going to affect utilities, but there's a lot of corporations that buy through trusts. So they come into the area, buy out the property, they yet pay zero tax because they had the lawyers file it out as a trust because they can make it work that way. So since it's already happening, why why don't we implement that for the people so they don't get priced out of paradise, and that maybe we establish some sort of organization that helps Kapuna convert their assets into nonprofit holdings in trusts, just like the big corporations.
You're talking about corporate REITs that come in and buy properties and take the tax deductions. And we also are having developers take exemptions. So there are a lot of freebies being given away, but the crux of the issue needs to be addressed. Our local residents need help.
Yes, Laura?
Thank you. I'm one of the local residents that needs help. My property, my apartment, Poole Circle, has almost doubled. And, the amount of property tax I'm having to pay is really hurting.
And
I
just
can't
FYI,
afford to fix things because I got to pay that property tax.
and just another
It's
thing
not
too,
fair.
another
So
thing too that
this
contributed to that.
resolution is a solution. Please vote yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Laura. Angie?
Oh, I was just gonna say, if we're gonna continue the discussion, we should move it to another committee meeting. Otherwise, we should,
Move on.
yeah,
It's
take
taking a long
motion for
time.
the reso.
Okay.
I
Is
call
there
for a
motion to
vote. I call for a vote.
Okay,
I move that we adopt this resolution. And if there are any other ideas, they should have separate resolutions. Thank you.
okay, thank you. Laura seconds it. Let's have a roll call vote.
Allen, absent. Hasina, aye. Knight, aye. Matson, Miranda,
No.
no. Murchie,
Abstain.
abstained. Rosman is absent. Rosman is St. Dennis. Velasco, Wasden,
Aye.
Bruce Wong, Linda Wong, Linda Wong. We'll circle back.
She's
Kendrick,
on.
Kendrick Wong and Winston Welch are absent. Is Julia Allen, Samuel Rossman, or Linda Wong online?
Linda's
And,
online.
and if you could please
I'd like to
unmute.
change my vote if possible.
Linda Wong
I
is no
abstain.
longer in the, oh,
I said I
she abstains.
abstain.
Okay. She abstains. Okay. On a vote of 7 I votes, 1 nay vote, and
Change your vote.
2 abstentions.
Point of order. Could we
Margaret?
have Margaret change her vote?
Margaret, did you abstain?
Yeah, no, I abstained, but I wondered if I could change my vote to yes. Just be supportive.
You can, if that's
It's
what you
not
want to do.
perfect. It's not perfect. So I do have
Okay.
reservations.
There's no I with reservations. They only do that in the city council.
I know I hate that.
Okay, did you change your
I'm gonna
vote to I?
go abstain then. Because I just don't think it's
Abstain.
perfect.
Okay. On a vote of 7 I votes, 1 nay vote, and 2 abstentions, the resolution has not been adopted.
Oh,
All right. It can come up in a different form and we can have another committee meeting. And which is probably what we should do.
Yes, I'd like to ask that Margaret attend the next committee meeting.
Yes, and also Anthony,
I've been there.
if possible. It would be good to have everyone who is in this discussion to join the committee so that we could really work this out,
Linda as well.
and Linda as well. Yes, to participate, yes. All right, thank you. Okay, now we're on to public interest reports and event announcement. Do we have? Okay, Board of Water Supply is not here today. Capilani Community College, are they on? I don't think they're on. Diamond Head State Monument Restoration projects. Someone. Yeah, I don't see is anyone online for this Diamond Head State Monument Restoration Project information? Okay, no one's here for that. Any public events announcement, races, parades?
I have an update.
Okay, Angie?
The Heart Walk that was supposed to be at Kapiolani Park tomorrow was canceled. Or not tomorrow, on Saturday due to the storm. So just an update.
If anyone knows any updates on the Duke swim as well, that would be helpful. That's being held Saturday. I haven't heard anything about that. It's right there in Waikiki. It's supposed to be held 8 o'clock in the morning, Saturday morning.
Waikiki Beach.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Now we go to the City of Honolulu reports, and we have the Mayor's Rep Director, Anton Krutke.
Chair, board members, thank you for having me tonight. We've been spending a lot of time in the city working on preparedness for the storm that is off our shores, Tropical Storm Lala. There's some assumption that it may turn into a hurricane when it gets to the south of the Big Island, but right now it is kind of tracking to be about 150 miles south of Oahu, but it still could bring some large rains, winds, and swells. The information there, Honolulu Alert, or you can go to 888-777 and look for information. And we urge everyone to be prepared, have extra food and water in your house. And we will be sending out public updates at 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. until the storm passes. There was a question later, but it relates to this about shelters in the area. And I said I would send that information to the chair, and I did send that information on shelters. I will tell you that right now that the city has decided to open 7 shelters for this storm. Unfortunately, none of the shelters are in this geographic area because the schools that might have been open didn't qualify for the hurricane, but they'll continually reassess that. There's the closest one for this area that they're thinking that could potentially open if the storm gets closer would be Roosevelt High School. Sometimes we would use, for this area, we would use the convention center, but it's under construction, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. I have duty all night from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. on Saturday night to Sunday. Yeah, anyway, so on to the mayor's newsletter. The Hawaii driver's license and state ID's got a new look, so check that out in the newsletter. It's the first time change in 17 years. Um, the Department of Housing and Land Management has started publicize their transit-oriented development that goes through EVA. So you can look those things up at the Department of Housing and Land Management. David Lazar was officially sworn in as the new chief of police. Very articulate man. He's the 13th chief of police for Honolulu. We discussed last time the lowering of the speed zones around schools for improved safety. And the national got award highlights for greener city parks was given to Honolulu. So you can check out these items in the mayor's newsletter. Also, our climate change and sustainability resiliency office, they announced a youth climate action fund application window open. And so youth can receive a $4,999 award to design and implement some sort of climate change project that they have. So have them go look that up at resilientoahu.org/YCAF. Be a great project for our young people to get involved in. On to some of the questions that happened at the last meeting. There was continued conversation about the Hockey Avenue stop signs where it really, people are stopping when the sign really says for pedestrians crossing. And there was just a lot of discussion about that. DTS, they responded that there is no supplemental sign that you would add to that the way the sign reads, stop here for pedestrians is the common use of that. And if people don't understand that, then that's just a sign they island and other places as well. They do not recommend any additional signage in that area. Montserrat Avenue street parking. This is where Paul came and talked about the red curbs being painted. I went up and looked at that last night to make sure before I came and reported to you on the status because they had promised me they would, and they painted gray over the extended red. And so the red right now is appropriate. It's in front of the bus stop. Then there's two driveways on each side of the bus stop. And then another set of red is painted there. And that allows for the bus to be able to get off the road and enter the bus stop and leave. But the other areas have been addressed and it's only on the one side. So I think we've taken care of that one. The Alawai Bridge Park, there's all bridge project. There's always a status. I know Ruby just left, but yesterday the final EA was published and there was I have it here, press release. I'll leave that here. There's a press release on how you can go look up the results of that EA that was published, which was something that was requested often. So the DTS anticipates the final request for proposals will be issued later this summer with a contract award early next year. There was discussion about the Kapalani Park proposal, the follow-ups on the project updates, and the park says that really they've submitted for archaeological survey of the proposed areas, and they're waiting for that information to come back to further comment on those projects. There was concern about there was questions about the resurfacing of the Diamond Head tennis courts. What's the city's position on renovating courts 8 and 9 to be resurfaced and converted into permanent pickleball courts? And so DPR is not opposed to the concept of converting courts 8 and 9 into dedicated pickleball courts. Currently, there are 2 existing tennis courts that are aligned to accommodate pickleball play, allowing both tennis and pickleball activities to take place at the facility. But they're not opposed to doing that. Depends on how much the community really wants to raise that as not having a dual purpose set of courts, but only pickleball courts.
I've heard there's a lot of opposition to it from the neighborhood.
Yeah, that's why I kind of stated it that way. It's uncertain, but now it's dual use. So both groups can use it for those sports. Emergency shelters, I just discussed that. That was brought up. And like I said, I did send in that information and talked about the shelters we have. The 7 shelters that are opening for Storm Lala are Castle High, Kahuku High, Wanalua, Nanakuli, Blanche Pope over in Waimanalo, Mililani, and Kapolei. Kapolei is where we're moving Honu to. We're going to close it down. And on Saturday morning, we're going to move the residents over to Kapolei until the storm passes, and then we'll reconstruct Honu and bring it back up. We really do keep an eye on this. You know, I'm very hopeful that the storm won't be that intense, but you hope for the best, but we prepare for the worst. That's how we go about doing that. There was comments on the Diamond Head Road accident, and Henrik Wong asked about information about the 3 p.m. on Wednesday, April 22nd, head-on collision on Diamond Head Road. And the 3 people went to the hospital. Can HPD conduct speed and traffic enforcement along Diamond Head Road? And so District 7 East Honolulu officers conducted speed and traffic enforcement from July 17th to July 27th. During this period, officers conducted driving under the influence roadblocks. Enforcement efforts resulted in the issuance of 16 citations for speeding, disregarding stop signs, driving without a valid driver's license, and expired safety inspections, expired registrations, no insurance. The officers also issued 2 warnings. So thank you for that input, and they reacted to it. It's July 17th to July 27th. There was questions on the neighborhood board boundary amendments and how you go about doing that. And the response came from the NCO. There are rules about how that can be done, but to summarize the multiple ways that you can do it, a petition adopted by a neighborhood board can ask for a review of boundaries. A petition signed by the lesser of 5% or 100 registered voters in the affected district, or the commission itself can at any time initiate a process to amend boundaries. But there is a process, and there involves at least 2 public hearings in the affected area and accepting written testimony on the petition before the commission makes a decision to approve or deny the proposed amendments. So that's sort of the process there. There was a request for the Department of Transportation Services issue a paint and sign work order to the Department of Facility Maintenance, DFM, to install additional signage, no parking signs on Wyndham Avenue between Morhay Avenue and Ho'oulu Street. DFM, the paint and sign work order 39338 is tentatively scheduled for completion in September 2026. So that's happening. And that.
Is that the section from Ohio to, what is the other street? Ho'olulu? That's where the cars are actually parking in the street, blocking traffic, approaching the stop sign to
Margaret,
Moheo.
So the
Michelle,
request was for that work order, and the work order has been issued.
It has been issued.
Yeah. Well, it's been issued and tentatively scheduled for completion in September.
So they're going to keep those cars off the road.
The paint and sign work order has been issued. That's I can't.
Okay.
Yeah, you're jumping.
We'll wait and see what happens.
Right. So I'm open.
All right.
Any other questions? That's the end of my prepared report.
The only question, this is Arlene, the only question I have is, I put in the 311 request for the Kualei Cliff asphalt hanging, and I got a picture back from the city showing their solution, and it was a caution tape around the area. And I don't really think that is adequate for the erosion that's going on down at that beach. And I would think, a sledgehammer, though, if you look at it, would do the job. It's still quite a hazard because if you're coming from the top going down, you can't tell that there's no support for that piece of asphalt.
Thank you.
And I have another question. At Leahi Beach Park, I have seen that they have taken down 2 huge trees that were being undermined. And I'm just wondering if you have any idea what the solution is for the rest of the collapse of that park, not just where the tree is. It goes all the way from the road down to the ocean.
What do you mean undermined?
If you look at the park, if you go to Leahi, you can
Right.
see that it's a big indentation all the way from the road down to
Correct.
the beach.
Yeah.
I'll check to see if there's any further plans.
Okay, thank you. And any status on the repair or what they're going to do at the collapse? Yet another collapse at the Barefoot Beach Cafe.
I thought we reported on that one. We didn't?
There was another one.
The recent.
Oh, okay. We'll check on that.
All right. Anybody else in person? Laura?
I signed up for this and I think I got an alert today, but I only got it from one place that Lala is a hurricane.
You know, I probably get like 4 or 5 notices a day from Honolulu Alert. You only got one?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like 20 in a day.
Okay.
Oh,
Text and email?
yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know what to make of it, but
It-
I've been checking with other people and that's the only one.
Okay, so your question is the status of it,
Yeah,
of the storm?
yeah, if you know anything.
Right, so the storm was really a mixture of winds and it hadn't gotten coordinated into an eye yet. And just this morning, it did. And so that's why they made it a tropical storm. It's not a hurricane yet, but as it picks up speed and it gets below the Big Island, they think it may be at hurricane level. So when you're 2 days away from a storm like that, then they give to the Big Island a hurricane alert. But there's not a hurricane alert for Oahu because the storm is passing 150 miles south of Oahu. Now, storms can change. If we remember Iniki, right, it was south of the islands and then turned north and clipped Waianae and hit Kauai. But right now, that's the plan. The rain should start, they'll start Friday on the Big Island, but they should start here sometime on Saturday and then through Saturday night and Sunday. At least that's the plan. That's the forecast. And the way they do this forecast and they model it, and then they give a confidence level on it. And their confidence level on the track is about medium. It's not certain.
Yeah, I was always forgetting those somewhere on top, somewhere right over the island.
Laura, can you use the mic, please?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because the models, are varied. But I would say that I started a meeting with the cabinet on this subject and it was tracking to be 130 miles south of Oahu. And by the end of the meeting, it was 150 miles south. So that was a positive event.
Okay, Angie has a question.
Okay, I have another question.
Yep.
I've been working with Mike Formby talking about the parking in front of Diamond Head Garden, that neighbors can, use some of it. If he's not there, who do I talk to?
The new managing director, who was just confirmed yesterday in council, is Krishna Jaram. He's now the official managing director. You can also email me and I'll give it to him directly if you want.
Okay, yeah, because I understand, you can't park within 20 feet of the crosswalk and that, but there is other area where at least 1 or 2 spaces could be opened up.
Send me, take a picture and send
Okay.
me an email and I'll guarantee I'll get it right in front of the MD.
Okay, thank you.
Of course.
Okay, I'm just going to add to what Laura said. And then Angie I'll make it super fast. So the gardener, the Diamond Head Community Garden, got a ticket as she was unloading, and she was very upset because she was at her car. She was just unloading dirt. I'd kind of like to try to prevent that. So that goes in part with the Laura's comment.
Okay. Put it in the note.
All right.
She's a
We'll
little
put it in the
parking.
note.
It's very unfortunate, but it's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay, so Angie?
Yeah, I had a question. This sort of pertains to 311, but I was curious with all of the focus on emergency preparedness, if there is a priority to repairing storm drains. I know the city acted quickly to put cones on 16th Avenue, which is outside of our neighborhood board. But then there's also it's along Dole and Frank Street. There's also a very damaged storm drain. I've not reported it to 311, but I have the photo for it. So I was just curious if there's a prioritization of repairing those with the increasing storms.
Well, storms, potholes, streams are never-ending maintenance thing. There are plans for each of those, master plans, but within that, they're also responsive to constituency pointing things out because the plan doesn't necessarily see what's going on. And so I would just continue to urge you to do that because that's how you can get, your action taken care of because the plan is very general, but then there is very much a responsiveness to constituencies.
Okay. And then I had a separate question. Forgive me, I didn't check the council after yesterday, but is your office getting involved with Bill 53 as it relates to home, or not homeless persons specifically, but shopping carts?
Are we getting involved in that? So she's talking about a bill that raises fines for people having shopping carts. We, just so you know, we, in our enforcements around the island, we collect 5,000 shopping carts a year. And those shopping cart thefts, they actually end up in your food bill, right? Because somebody has to pay for those. I think it's an interesting thing to do. This has been tried a couple of times. We're just in the first reading. We'll see how it goes. I imagine that I'll probably be asked to testify. I haven't decided,
Okay.
but you'll find out when I testify.
All right.
Just wanted to make sure it was on your radar.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions? Michelle?
Two questions. The Kapilani Park projects, the Department of Parks and Recreation Director presented several projects to our board very quickly, boom, boom, boom. What were they?
Well,
6 or 8 proposals for Kapilani Park, which is a registered historic landscape, and trust land. So we wonder how the director can autonomously engage in these projects. She mentioned at the board meeting that the funding would not go through city council and have public hearings for approval of these projects, but the funding would come internally. And yet we hear and we've read that the Parks Department doesn't have enough money to take care of our parks. So why are these projects being promoted that are basically bringing more activity into Kapilani Park, as the director said was her desire for all parks to create more activity when there is specifically limited parking because of the trust land? The judge has decreed that existing parking is allowable, but any expansion of hard surfacing over the historic landscape is not.
So is the question, is there an analysis between the amount of parking and the amount of activity being promoted in the
Actually,
park? What's
it's
the question?
about everything, because you mentioned that there's an archaeological survey underway, or at least that's
Yeah, that's what you have to
what
do
you
if
have
you're looking
found.
at these projects. It's one of the steps.
I understand. Is that going through the State Historic Preservation Division?
I don't know if it's SHPD or not. I think it's a separate division that does archaeological,
Oh, they do have their own archaeological.
but it is a state, yes.
Yes, okay, so it is SHPD. So are they not doing the historic preservation review as well?
I don't know. I can ask.
Yes, please. Please find out if the historic preservation review will be undertaken along with the archaeological review.
Okay, so the question is whether or not a SHPD application has been made.
No, if there is going to be a review for the historic preservation.
Right, that's SHPD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah, and because you've already announced that there will be an archaeological survey,
Right,
but they have 2 divisions.
right. That's what I just said. So that's the request, is a SHPD being
Yeah.
requested.
And then the second question is the pickleball at Diamond Head Tennis Center, which is below several residences. And it is very well known that those people not only have hard balls on hard paddles, not soft tennis balls on soft tennis rackets, but also they yell and scream and, just make a raucous, and it's all day long, for as long as the park is open. The question is, why should those 2 tennis courts contiguous to the residences be pickleball that is so noisy, where there are other tennis courts closer to Kalakaua or wherever, even other parts of the island, that would be far more conducive. The other attached to that is Nextdoor website that has a whole conversation about pickleball, and the most affected area is Manoa. They are up in arms about pickleball on the park tennis courts. So it's not a small issue.
No, I don't think
Okay,
it's
so
one-sided.
And then it can go before your committee,
Yes,
right?
we're gonna, yes, I'm trying to, today I was, I called Laura Thielen's office, and we're trying to get her schedule so we can have her part of our meeting.
As long as it's comprehensively focused on all the proposed
Yeah, I'll put out an
redevelopment
agenda.
projects as well as pickleball.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know, it has to be. And I picked the wrong day to try to coordinate with her because they're all tied up with the emergency response, so.
Yeah, but I'll get her to come because I just went to her neighborhood board for her. So I'll help.
Oh, okay, okay,
But-
so we'll get that set up. I had to change the
Yeah.
date from the 20th.
Copy me on the notes, okay, Arlene?
Okay, all right. We don't have a date yet. So we'll reschedule, and I'm not dealing with family issues anymore, so. Okay, so now anybody online have any questions? Any hands? Linda has her hand up.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the new driver's licenses, I don't know if you can see this. I had it so you could see it before. I wonder why it's not, oh, I have that border up. Anyway, the new driver's license, they talk about a second rendition. I'm confused about that because I got a new one and it's flat ugly. It's to me, it's a yellow rainbow with orange rainbow with a peach rainbow, it's all yellow undertones. And it doesn't make for a good picture at all. It's supposed to be a rainbow effect, but I think they missed. And so you said there's something about a second rendition, so I'm hoping that they're gonna fix this because it's just ugly, I think. I'll take this back away and then you should be able to see it. Thank you. So what are they gonna do about that?
Probably not. They've been working on it for a long time now. They've done the contract to issue them and print them and do them. I mean, we can always give input, but I don't.
It's
Have
kind
you-
of, is it
It's
kind of
ugly.
late in the
Yeah,
cycle?
I just have to tell you, I mean, you may not like, you personally may not like the looks. There's a lot of benefits to that card. I don't need them all, but there's a lot of savings to the taxpayers by how that card is produced and what it can do for safety and data gathering that we have. So there's a lot that went into that. I know that the director took a lot of time and energy to do that and have those cards produced, and it's saves the city a lot of money, and it also provides a lot more function.
Okay, great, thank you.
And what director is this that did this?
It's customer service.
Oh,
So that's
customer. Who's
Director
that?
Kim
Who?
Hayashi.
Kim?
Yeah. Kim Hayashi.
Okay, thank you. It's have you seen them?
Yes.
Yeah. Don't you think they're a little off-putting?
I don't know.
Yeah.
They were all right to me, but
Yeah.
I get it. It's like sometimes you don't like your picture on your driver's license, but you got to live with it for 5 years.
No, the picture's okay, but the background is just not conducive. Yellows and orange backgrounds are not good with flesh tones.
They're
they
much
don't ma-
easier for HPD to see at night.
Oh, I see. Well, okay, that's good. Tell me the good things because, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else online have any questions? Daisy? Daisy, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Director. Thank you for the comments regarding bus routes. The old buses for Route 2 being, actually seeing new buses replacing some of the older or articulated buses for Route 1 and 2. That's great. No, the Director Merton was just said on TV that routes 1 and 2 being the most busiest, but yet they lack drivers. I suggest maybe they get rid of the route U that goes to UH for very limited service, and then maybe one bus of the W Express in Waikiki, which is great. But then I see there's so many of them before you see any number 2 buses. Maybe take one route or driver per hour, and that might help suffice the route 1 and 2 drivers shortage. Those ideas I think would be more beneficial for people that live, work, not only in Waikiki, but in Kalihi and other areas. That might really help because we're having trouble just waiting for the number 2 bus to come. And we see more W buses coming through Waikiki than any other bus. So those might be some suggestions that he could look into. Appreciate it. Thank you. But thank you for changing
so
some of the buses.
We took notes on that and we can follow up, but Daisy, the best way to do that is put it in Honolulu 311. It'll go right to DTS and they'll get back to you on it.
Yes, I've talked to Mr. Morton several times. Thank you.
Yep. And he iterized, I was sitting next to him tonight in a meeting and I was talking about this board and he iterized that he is always open to meet with the transportation committee. And that's a great meeting to have because I've sat in some of those. He'll bring the people and a staff that can do the things you want. That's how you got some of the signage at Diamond Head and such
good.
through those meetings. So he's still is open to that.
Great, thank you.
We met in his office.
Yeah, you can meet in his office.
Yeah. That was a good meeting.
Yeah, that was a very productive meeting. Any other questions? Nope, I think we're done. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Anton. And good luck Saturday night. Okay, so next we have Council Chair Tommy Waters' office. Any rep? We can't. You're Kevin? You're very muffled. There's a lot of feedback. We can't hear you.
I'm not sure what I can do about that.
No, we can't hear you at all. I mean, we can hear you, but it's all muffled.
You might have to leave and come back.
Yeah, you want to try to. Ooh, that's really bad. No, that's still not working. Do you have headphones? He left. Okay, well, we'll go on. If he comes back on, we'll try it again. How about Council Member Scott Nishimoto? Any rep for him? Kylie?
Sorry, Chair, my sound was being funky. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, hi everyone, Kylie here from Councilmember Nishimoto's office. I will put our contact info in the chat as well as our e-blast link, but if anyone has any questions for the St. Louis Heights area, please let me know. Happy to pass it on to council member, or if you think of something later on, you can always contact us, and just wanted to make sure everyone stays safe this weekend. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have questions here in person? No questions. How about online? Any questions online? No questions. Okay, well, thank you very much for attending.
Thank you.
Okay, Kevin is back.
All
We're going to
right.
try again.
How is this? Is it any better?
Yes, we can hear you
Oh, great. Okay,
and see you. Perfect.
great. I'm looking the wrong way. Okay, hold on one second. So good evening, Vice Chair and board members, Kevin Imanaka with Council District 4. Chair Waters sends his apologies. He could not make it tonight. He's actually pretty sick, but he does look forward to seeing all of you next month. Tasha from our office had emailed the District 4 newsletter to all of you on the board this afternoon, so you should have received that. And I have just a few updates on bills that we introduced and or are tracking. So on first reading bills, Bill 52 addresses illegal peddling, and this is mostly related to Waikiki, increasing the fines for violations from $100 to $500 on first violation, $250 to $750 on second violation, and it pushes it to no less than $1,000 for third violation. Bill 53, as was mentioned, prohibits illegal possession of shopping carts outside of the legal owner's premises in order to reduce abandoned carts across Oahu. And I think Director Kirky had mentioned the number of carts that are abandoned per year, causing safety hazards and oftentimes clogging our streams. So this is our first reading bill, and there's a lot more conversation to be had about this, but the intent is really to reduce the number of shopping carts that are illegally owned outside of an owner's premises, like Long's or Safeway. Second reading bills, Bill 45, home exemption, increases the property tax homeowner exemption for seniors 65 and older from 180,000 to 200,000. Bill 46 increases the real property home exemption for owner occupants 64 and younger from 140 to 160. And Bill 47 aims to lower the county vehicle weight tax per pound for passenger vehicles and light trucks, helping to make transportation more affordable for all of us. And finally, Resolution 26-159 urges the State Board of Land and Natural Resources to redirect DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources to adopt rules that prohibit harvesting of aquatic life from Hawaii's marine waters for commercial aquarium purposes. So those are some of the bills and resos that we are currently tracking. I'm happy to take any questions. Back to Chair.
Any questions for Tommy Waters' office online? Angie?
Yeah. Hi, Kevin. A quick
Hi.
question about the 45 through 47. Are those going to committee again, or where they go now?
Currently going back to committee, and I'm assuming budget, but I need to check on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any more questions in person? I have a quick question regarding the aquatic bill and the resolution. Is that going to, is Tommy planning to attend the final hearing with BLNR? I think it's on the 28th of August.
I can definitely ask him about that.
All right, thank you. Okay, anybody online have a question? Linda Wong.
Yeah, thank you. I got unmuted or muted. How much is the fine? The fines were pretty hefty and they seem like they've jumped a lot. It's just not conducive to the time for that, I think. The one for what was the last one? It was really high. What was the last one you said? Do you remember?
Are you, Linda, are you talking about the
Yeah.
peddling, illegal peddling?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was probably it. Yeah. Because like the shopping carts, you're talking about a marginal group. I know everybody's not a homeless advocate, but some of those fines were, how much was the jump? It was like, thousands of dollars. Yeah, they were really, they jumped pretty high. I know Tommy wants to get money for the city, but it's from us or, people. I know they're doing things they're not supposed to, but that's a real hefty fine, the jump, especially the jump. And it's not a soft blow,
Yeah, no, it's not. It's designed to deter the problem with illegal peddling in Waikiki, particularly with the illegal tours that are happening. The vendors are really just sort of ignoring or even sort of incorporating the fines into their operating costs, which is, doesn't make any sense. So the idea is to deter.
Linda, I think there's a difference between the peddling bill and the shopping cart bill.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. It just seemed like the fines that was quoted were a huge jump. It's
Okay,
just,
all right.
yeah.
Okay, thank you, Linda.
Mhm.
Okay, now we have Dylan and
Hi,
House.
this question is to Tommy Waters representative. Is there a way for you to track that when these fines go out, or is there a way to see or know who's paying them? Because we're focusing on increase on fines, but if there's no like there has been issues with fines before that have not been paid, and then when brought before a judge, they just get wiped out.
Good question. Thank you. We'll work specifically. We have been working specifically with Major Paul Komodo, who oversees Waikiki. So we can flag that for him to track as well.
And is there something specific with the carts? Because I see this being a detriment to community members who might actually take carts off site because it's easier for them to deliver their goods. And if that becomes a problem because they will return the carts, and then we're basically making a fine. And there's a potential that even regular community members might take carts to their place and residence and leave the carts behind because some people are bad actors in our community. But it's not designed for the homeless. And then if it's designed for the homeless, it then becomes a detriment to community members who will be getting fined. And they're the ones that get tracked on that. Can you give any clarity on that?
No, but good point. As I said, this bill is on first reading, so it's going to go to committee next, and those types of issues, exactly as sort of you're explaining it, it's good to bring those up now. So I'll take that back to Chair Waters.
Yeah, I find that problematic because if the fine is if they take it off the property premise, right?
Correct.
You can submit testimony on, online and in person on that bill.
Yeah, I just want to be clear if they're trying to target homeless on that,
Okay, anybody else? All right, I think we're done. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Okay, now we're on to federal and state elected officials. Is Kikoa on for Ed?
I
Hey,
am.
okay.
Excuse
All right,
me,
great,
Chair,
thank
I
you.
had my hand up and I got muted and not allowed to talk.
Okay, Linda, I guess we'll circle back if you don't
Okay,
mind. so
I'm
we can-
sorry. Oh, okay, fine, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry I didn't put it all together.
All right.
Hello, Vice Chair Velasco. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you.
Terrific.
Good.
Good evening
Very
to you
well.
and members of the board. I'm Kikoa Kaluhiva from Congressman Ed Case's office. It's nice to see some of you here tonight. I just wanted to share a brief update from our office. First of all, in the chat, I did put a link there for our latest third quarter newsletter that goes into much more detail to the information I'm providing tonight, as well as a link to the FAA's Hawaii Airspace Modernization Project, which I'll be speaking to as well. Just kind of as a quick summary, I know for congressmen right now, we're in the middle of midterm elections, but the work of Congress continues. And so he will often refer to his work in threefold. One, to help lead our country. Two, to help Hawaii. And of course, the third being to help you and your particular ohana with the needs that you might have. As a member of the House Appropriations Committee, Congressman Case and his committee have completed the review and approval of all 12 bills that fund the entirety of our federal government for FY 2027. Those bills now await full review by Congress in the coming months. He also continues to focus on making sure Hawaii gets its fair share of support. Through his work on the Appropriations Committee, he secured major wins this year, including funding for Native Hawaiian housing via Hawaiian Homelands, community policing, coral reef protection, invasive species prevention, the East-West Center, Honouliuli Women's Business Centers, and the National Memorial Cemetery at Punch Bowl. There's much more details on those particular efforts in the newsletter in the chat. Also to mention, he's continuing bipartisan efforts to reform gerrymandering through his Problem Solvers Caucus, as well as working with his colleagues in the Pacific Islands Caucus to counter growing transnational crime in the Indo-Pacific through the Pacific Islands Liaison Initiative Act. I also, a topic not new to this particular board, just touching on the FAA Hawaii Airspace Modernization Project. This one deals directly with your neighborhood. As most of you know, this is a multi-year effort to modernize Hawaii's airspace, improving safety and updating flight procedures, while also looking at community concerns like low altitude commercial flights, nighttime operations, congestion around Honolulu, as well as tour helicopter patterns. This project has now moved into the solution development phase, as coined by the FAA, which means that they are now actively working on actual airspace and flight procedure changes as of August this month. The Congressman strongly encourages all of you to stay engaged in this process so that community voices are heard. You can follow updates, watch the recorded meetings, and see upcoming participation opportunities at the FAA's website. I've copy and pasted that link in the chat here tonight. It's rather long, so hopefully you can get it from there. But please go there to sign up for more information and to participate in this multi-year process. Looking ahead, our office is accepting applications for nominations to the U.S. Military Service Academies, as well as this year's Congressional App Challenge for students here in Hawaii. More information available on our website at case.house.gov. Lastly, please remember, if you or anyone in our community needs help with a federal agency, whether it's veterans benefits, Social Security, passports, or anything else, our office is here to help. You can reach us at 808-650-6688 or through our website, again, at case.house.gov. Before I take questions, I just wanted to make mention, it's been a little while since I've gone before your board. To the extent that we can try and engage with you on a quarterly basis every 3 or 4 months, that is our goal. With a team of 4 here in our office and 24 boards to cover, we try our best to engage as best we can. Please feel free to reach out to us. We will at the very least provide a quarterly update by newsletter and join you in person or online. Mahalo for this time.
Thank you very much. I have a quick request for it. Can you email Curtis the link to the FAA? If especially because it's a long link and some of us won't have access to the chat until at all tonight. So if you could email that and then we can put it on our drive, that would be very helpful. I'll start off with the comments from the people here online. I have a question regarding Ed's. There's been a lot of news coming out on ICE activity that is really very disturbing. The detention camps, especially in Delaney, Texas, there's been yet more death occurring there. There has been reports of food, bugs in water and food with bad food. And I'm very concerned about the detention of children in all these camps. And I'm very concerned that I just heard today that ICE is going to be issued shock gloves. And are they going to use those gloves when they're ripping families apart? And I think this is something that I'd really like Ed to get involved with and prevent. We have got to protect people in this country.
Thank you for the comment there, Vice Chair. I'm sorry if I might have misheard. I didn't hear about this. Did you say shock as in electricity?
They're shock gloves.
Thank you.
Shock. They will electrocute people.
Thank you.
I don't know if they'll kill them, but it'll hurt. And can you imagine if they do that to children? So anyway, this is a horrific development.
Sure, I'll definitely be bringing this to the Congressman's attention.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for sharing that.
Okay, anybody else online? Chad?
Hey, yes. Hey, Keiko, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, Chad Was. I'm one of the board members here. I'm
Of course,
online
yes.
here, and I
aloha.
just wanted to thank you and Congressman Case about the FAA thing. I walked in that night when you guys were here telling us about how the HAMP project was going to go forward, and I'm like, wow, this is quite the opportunity. I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an update. I watched that video from they kind of gave a summary of all the data they went over, and I walked away from that video feeling very positive about things. I felt like the FAA heard us. They broke it down in like a pie chart and like where the comments came from, whether it was the community or the airline industry. We as a community made up like 82% of the comments that they were taking. And then one of the FAA folks broke it down into a heat map as to where all those comments were coming from. And I'm happy to report that heat map was hottest over our district. So I just want to thank everyone for putting in their input and getting this out to the FAA. I think they heard us. I heard a couple of them even say they're going to try to do everything they can to route flights over water and stuff. So I'm excited to see what they do with this next phase.
Okay, great. Nice to have you on, Chad.
Yeah, sorry, I got scheduled to work tonight, so I'm kind of doing two things at once here.
All right, thank you. And I think we have another comment from Jason here in line in the house.
Hi, Jason Liang speaking. I just want to ask you to pass the message along to Congressman Ed Case that congratulations on the primary win. However, I do want to highlight that there are many congressional Democratic wins around the nation, and I believe we're expecting a Democratic majority. I just want to remind Ed Case that many of these Democrats are running on Medicare for all, and that in the past he has voted with Republicans. And I would just like to highlight that this is something that many working class people really need, and to remember his constituents when he votes on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Jason. Anybody else online? Linda? Linda, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, sorry. I'm waiting to ask Tommy Waters' representative a question. We're going to circle back on that. That's why I have my hand up still.
Okay, he left, Linda.
Oh, boy.
You can, what I do sometimes is I call their office.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else have a question for Ed Case? Johnny May.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Keikoa. Last state session, the HHL introduced a bill that was denied by the Ways and Means Committee, and that was for generating of revenue to go directly to the HHL. So I would like for you to take back to Mr. Case about revenue collected by HALECOR go directly to DHHL, so the 29,000 people can get turnkey homes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else online? No more questions, no more questions in house. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too. Next, we have Governor Josh Green. Is Ryan on? Okay, no one from Green's office. Okay, how about State Senator Chang? Nobody there. Les Ahara was here and he had to leave and he left us some information. We have State Senator Carol. Nope, nobody there. Tina, she is on. Tina?
Hi, I'm here.
Hi. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, no problem. Good to be here. Sorry I couldn't be there in person. Trying to do some storm prep. Let's see. I wanted to share, first of all, that we'll be, I vice chair the Committee on Consumer Protection. Things are mostly quiet because we're in interim, still campaign season, but we are hosting an informational briefing on towing complaints, a lot of predatory towing practices. That'll be on Wednesday, August 19th, this coming Wednesday at 10 a.m. You can find, I'll pop the link to the hearing notice in the chat, but you can find it on the Capitol website. It'll be in conference room 309 at the Capitol, but it'll also be live streamed on the House YouTube page. And then I also wanted to share, I'm sure all of you have been following the news about the corruption scandals, and you know that I am a member of the Good Government Caucus, which is made up, it's bipartisan caucus in both the House and the Senate. I signed on to a letter, I think it was last week, to House and Senate leadership and to Governor Green, requesting a special session to pass a bill based around the language from SB 2530 from last session, which aims to close the contractor loophole that permits officers and family members of government contractors from making campaign contributions. It was one of the recommendations of the Foley Commission, and we got close to passing it last year, but didn't quite get there. I signed on to that letter, knowing that we need 2/3 of the members of both chambers to agree to convene a special session. It's very unlikely, and there are valid reasons not to. Cost money, takes a lot of time. The idea, though, is that we would ideally do this before the general election, so that the next election cycle, we have done our due diligence in making sure we have clean elections. I also think that, putting a little pressure on leadership might just look like a commitment to pass the bill next year, which I think is also good. But I really just wanted to be part of a public call to take this matter seriously. And however that shakes out, I'll be sure to update you. But it is something we're talking about at the legislature. And I think that, right now, not many people have signed on to the letter and the accompanying petition, but I think there is a general acknowledgement that this is something that we really need to do to regain public trust. So that's my main update. And I'm here for questions. Thank you, guys.
Great. Thank you, Tina. I have an add-on to the corruption issue. I've been thinking about this a lot too, and I've attended, different hearings at the Capitol. And what's striking to me is that when you go to a testimony and you give testimony, the chairs can call the committee into a back room. They discuss everything, and then the chair can just kill the bill without the public ever knowing the reasoning. And I think that alone, if we knew why a bill was killed, that would go a long way in regaining public trust.
That was addressed in a recent lawsuit, and really, I understand the concern, but now sitting in 3 committees, typically when we recess, it's really to get quorum, and then sometimes the chair will give us a heads up as to what his recommendation will be. Most of the time, that recess that he calls or she is usually less than a minute or 2. And now we are implementing, we're trying to implement best practices where the chair will explain their recommendation. Not all chairs do it. So in the lawsuit, I think that it was determined that that doesn't violate our house rules. But we are trying to make sort of cultural shifts towards greater transparency, and you know, I think appearance is also an important part of that. Like whether or not something is happening in those 2 minutes, it should be communicated well enough to the public so that they understand that our discussion happens in the committee hearing itself. And that window is so that members can rush in from their offices to take the vote. And, you know, sometimes the chair will go around and say, I'm about to recommend this. Let me know if you have any concerns. But yeah, it's like with these kinds of things, there's a question of what the rules say and how we sort of stay true to the intent of those rules in practice, you know. But I appreciate you bringing that up.
Great. Thank you very much. Anybody else have any questions in-house? How about online? No? Nope, no questions. Well, thank you very much, Tina,
Thank you, guys.
for your input. Okay, the next we have Jackson Sayama. He left. I did see him leave. And next we have Representative Olds. Is he on?
I'm here.
Okay, great. Thank you for coming.
Hello and good evening, everybody. Madam Temporary Chair, you're doing a fantastic job running today's meeting.
Thank you.
Nothing substantial to report. I think the mayor's representative did a fantastic job already kind of covering the storm. That was going to be my main talking point, but I am here for any questions.
Okay, anybody online? Laura.
My question is still, I heard that it had turned into a hurricane, but it was just from one source, not any other ones.
I don't have an update that it's a hurricane. I do know that it was upgraded to a tropical storm earlier today. And I think according to the forecast, it was supposed to potentially become a hurricane tomorrow. It could have changed, but I remember reading that there was a possibility of it because the threshold for a hurricane, I believe, was like 74 miles an hour. And it's supposed to strengthen tomorrow and then start weakening.
Yeah, because the water temperatures are running at 80.
I don't know the the geology behind how the hurricane will grow or not. But as of right now, I'm only aware that it's a tropical storm.
Okay, and Rafia has a question.
Hello, Ars. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Hey,
Hi.
hey, hello. Yeah, it's Rafia. So I have a quick question.
Yes.
Today I have seen some of the homeless are sheltering under the overpass in the Market City and the the Kapiolani Boulevard. Is it for the sheltering for the storm, the homeless, or some other reason? Because they are moving, so many of them moving the underpass. Today morning I have seen them.
Is your
notice?
question, are you asking if the government is assisting the homeless to move into that space?
I know, they're coming, a lot of them, maybe more than 20. They're underpass, they're
Mhm.
sheltering in this underpass, this Marcus City, you know the place, yeah?
Right, yes.
So
The
I'm
freeway
just
across the street.
wondering, are they sheltering for the storm or any other reason they're relocated or moving there?
That could very well be. That actually could be a possibility. So CORE, the city program, has been going on outreach to the various homeless encampments to let the homeless know that the storm is coming. So homeless in the area could very well be on their own, moving into that space because it is sheltered. It'd be a safer place for them than say inside one of the streams like the Polo stream.
Yes.
Right.
That's why I'm wondering. So you keep an eye on them. Is any other reason they're moving or not? Of course, they need some shelter from the store.
Yes,
Okay,
it could,
thank you.
that could be the reason.
Yeah, thank you.
And we have a question from Dylan.
Well, it's just the response to Raja. So, what it is that they were moving the junk out. I don't think they're there to assist the homeless. They're making preparations for the storm, and they need to get the junk that's in that area out so that when it floods, we don't have to worry about that junk causing more issues with the streams and whatnot. So they're not, from what I see, not assisting the homeless. They're clearing out the area.
That might be them, but just as Reynolds, I know you can answer this for yourself. It's Angie. No, the city ahead of a storm will activate the different outreach workers and the city team. So CORE has been out there, as well as the different outreach organizations have been going into the canal separately. But ahead of a storm, there are workers who go out to ask the different encampments to move out into the emergency shelters. Not saying that's not happening, not saying it is
I
happening.
agree with
but
what
yeah,
you're
it
saying,
is.
but in this specific instance, it was HTM, and that's their clearing
Yes.
group. So that's people coming in for bulk items, clearing out the area. That's who I saw there today with the homeless.
Yeah, I'm sure they're trying to prevent it from entering the LOI canal. Okay. Anybody else have a question? Nope, I think, okay, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much.
And then we have Andrew Garrett. Nope, nobody here. All right, so next we move on to our community concerns from residents. Anybody in-house? Dylan?
So, at the other neighborhood board meeting that I went to, which was the McCully Neighborhood Board, there was something that was brought up, and this is a concern for the number of calls that come into HPD. So with their issues, regardless if it's the homeless or whatnot, there is a HPD sheet that we have that shows the number of calls. And one of the things that was brought up was of the number of calls that came in, acting Major Lieutenant Thompson was trying to tell us that some of these calls fall into a category where there's nothing that they can do about it. So what we wanted to have for transparency is that we have like 4,000 in District 6. I don't know how many in District 7. We weren't given a printout. I had the printout, but I don't know where the printout went. I had it with me. Oh, here it is. So for example, in District 6, Waikiki, you have 4,681 calls. You have 4,000 and that was this month. If you take a look at the number of responses like to burglary, robbery, theft, it only actually amounts to a very small percentage of what those calls are. So the problem comes down to how many times on calls does the Honolulu Police Department defer it into a category of uninvestigatable, and is this truly true? Because what they are saying they cannot investigate, but that's not true. They're just saying they cannot. And Acting Major Lieutenant Thompson has said this. So the board member, John Johnson, he said, I have video evidence. I'd like to submit it to you, show you people are chopping up mopeds. Why aren't you investigating these? Now, the thing is, they can investigate under RAS, reasonable articulate suspicion, but they don't even bother to investigate. And so we want to know the number that they're putting into this category of them not investigating. And we want to understand why they're not investigating these reported crimes or
Okay.
concerned citizens calling on things that they're seeing.
All right, I would assume that would be a question for the police, right? We'll take it to the police.
I'm just bringing it out as a concern because they're not really taking any action on it because they don't have to. So maybe as a board, not just your board, we'll also have the McCully board too, wrapped up a resolution that what I'm trying to say is that you look at your numbers. You got 4,681 calls in District 6. Look at the numbers of what they're responding to and telling
Right.
you what they. And then what happens to the rest? And most of the calls are about the homeless. Most of the calls are actually reported crimes.
All right, we'll take it to the police.
But what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say is
Yeah,
that part.
we understand that there's a discrepancy there and you want to get more details.
Well, no, I'm not trying to get more details. What I'm trying to say is, isn't there a problem right when you look at the numbers? That 4,681 calls, and you're probably at a threshold of 500 responses to what those calls generated. That's a low percentage of the calls. So are community concerns getting resolved? And is HPD scapegoating by saying, oh, these are non-investigatable things that you call us on?
All right, thank you for that input. We'll go back to the police. Okay, anybody else? That's it. Nobody online. Now we're to our presentation at Red Hill Registry. She's been patiently waiting. Thank you.
Hello.
Tara
Yes.
Sutton.
Yes. My name is Tara Sutton. Thank you, Madam Acting Chair and Board. I appreciate you having me here. There we go. Now I can see you. Can you still hear me? With me tonight is Jazz Burns. She's online. And I don't know if you guys have my slides or if you would prefer for her to share screen.
If she could share screen, that'd be great.
Okay, she's prepped for that. So Jazz, if you can go ahead and share your screen. So I am the Director of Community Engagement with the Red Hill Registry, and I understand that a lot of people already have a pretty rounded understanding of the event around the water crisis with the Red Hill spill from the facility in 2021 and 2022. So I won't go into detail about that, but I do have a pretty extensive knowledge around that. So if there are questions beyond the scope of just what I'm talking about with the registry tonight, feel free, and I can answer those to the best of my ability. So go ahead and advance. Thank you. There we go. From day one, the registry has prioritized engaging with and listening to community members. Staff frequently attends local meetings and open houses, and we have presented to the Commission on Water Resource Management and the Hawaii State Emergency Response Commission. We do community service projects, including food drives, clean water distribution, and cleanups. Last year, we spoke in 8 different high school classrooms, and earlier this year, we had an exhibit table at the Capitol's UH Research Day. And finally, the registry's Community Advisory Work Group meets every 6 weeks for 2 hours and has been really instrumental by providing feedback on everything from enrollment criteria to logo development and even previewing survey instruments and specialized widgets and other tools. All of this has made it so that the community stays at the heart and the center of everything that we produce and all of the decisions that we make. The registry is driven by 3 clear community supported goals. Go ahead and advance. Jazz, are you with us? I'll continue talking. She'll catch up, I imagine, if she may be having some difficulties. So our goals, we have 3. First, that is to capture each participant's unique exposure scenario and track health impacts over time. Second is to support the community with connections to a range of resources and needed services. And third is to produce educational materials designed for healthcare professionals, community members, and other communities experiencing similar crises. Go ahead. The next the community emphatically asked us to leave nobody behind and leave nobody out when we established our enrollment criteria. So to honor this request and to acknowledge the long history of environmental contamination from the Red Hill facility, we developed a couple of different questionnaires to capture unique exposure scenarios. So first, individuals complete a 10-minute pre-enrollment questionnaire, which basically just asks how, when, and where did you use water? This is the first step of enrolling in the registry, and depending on these responses, the individual will receive an email either thanking them for their concern or inviting them to complete either the baseline or expanded enrollment questionnaire. Now, the baseline questionnaire captures information from those who were exposed in the November 2021 to March 2022 water contamination window, whereas the expanded enrollment questionnaire is for everyone who used the Navy water line anytime before or after this exposure window, as well as the buffer zones around the green flushing zones as you see in that map. Additionally, unexposed individuals living with exposed housemates are also included. This might sound confusing, but it could look like a family living on the water line, but one of the children is an adult child and away at college. And so therefore the family was exposed and the student was not. Or it could be a family living off the water line and a spouse works on the water line, or a younger child attends one of the schools on the water line. All of this is the expanded enrollment, and we envision this population being useful for the kind of future research that requires a comparison group. So each questionnaire begins with a consent form that is to be completed by someone over the age of 18. You can consent for yourself, for a child or minor, or another adult if you are their legally authorized representative. Next. Our referral manager, she lived in Capilina Beach Homes at the time of the exposure, and she has been working really hard to develop the referral program by cementing a relationship between the Red Hill Registry and Unitas, which is a national trusted technology partner for integrating health and community-based care. Together, we set up a public resource directory accessible at redhillregistry.org/resources. The interface allows users to customize results by inputting their zip code and can even select from hundreds of languages. So before she advances the screen, I want to point out that one really important thing about this, within Unitas, we're their only customer who does not have a portal or a login that gates the resources to solely the enrollees of the registry. Anybody in the United States can access our public resource directory and find services for anything that they might need help with. So that's useful to know with this upcoming storm. If something affects somebody, it doesn't matter if you were impacted by Red Hill, you can still use this public resource directory and find assistance in some way. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. Go ahead and go next, Jazz. You will see in a minute a flow chart that shows how anybody, oh, this is what I just said. Anybody that goes to the redhillregistry.org can access the full National Public Resource Directory. The people who would complete the baseline or expanded enrollment questionnaires have additional access, which is the assistance referral request form. When you complete those enrollments, you will receive an email with a unique link so that you can request assistance and you'll have personalized care. And with that, you will have actual follow-up and ensure that the organizations that you reach out to in your area actually follow up with you and complete the needed assistance. Next. We're almost finished. I know you guys had a full night tonight. We have several fact sheets published on our website, and that's listed under the resources tab as well. I brought a couple here tonight. They're on the sign-in table. If anybody here wants one, I can provide that to you. But if you're interested from our website, then again, it's just redhillregistry.org/resources. So we've published educational webinars on our YouTube channel. We're currently working on developing topics for future webinars and educational units. We have accredited courses for healthcare professionals so that they can get their continuing education credits and take a course that we've designed and deliver that is strictly talking about the event of Red Hill, the known health effects, the exposure scenarios, and the clinical guidance that has been recently published by the National Academies of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine. Advance. We partner with organizations to offer those courses, and they have been distributed. So far, we had grand rounds at Polymomi, and we also have delivered one presentation that was nationwide, and we have several more in the works, but we're in our first year after launching, and so we're still pretty new, and we have quite a few resources out. One thing that people, let me see. Yeah, let's go ahead and go on to the next slide. As of early August this month, we have approximately 2,900 people pre-enrolled in the registry, but only 500 have actually completed step 2 of enrollment. So we're really wanting to close that gap and make sure that people are fully registered in the registry. So if anybody has questions about their status, if you know that you have at least begun it, then you can call our info line. That's 808-427-8260, or you can email us at info@redhillregistry.org and ask about your status. Jazz will also be putting that in the chat for those online. Lastly, we need help from people like you to reach more areas of the community near and far. Some tangible ways to get involved is to help spread the word to your networks, share our materials with your healthcare providers, connect us to trusted spaces to have more conversations, and follow our social media channels. We have our website, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, and YouTube, and what is the LinkedIn? I'm not a big social media person. So these kinds of partnerships make a real difference and keep the registry community centered. So I just want to thank everybody for your attention. Before I stop for questions, I always take a minute to thank the Red Hill community and the people of Hawaii for recognizing a problem and fighting for the answers that are deserved. So mahalo.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. That was a horrific event.
Yes,
And
it was.
I'm kind of surprised at the low numbers that have registered. Wasn't there the exposure almost 100,000?
93,000. Yeah, roughly. And that number is kind of an estimate. We
Yeah.
don't really know the back of the envelope calculations, but we launched in August of 2025, and we had a huge push there. One of our biggest efforts was through the Defense Health Agency, which is DHA, and that's one of the Department of Defense organizations. And they provided us with tens of thousands of emails that were for people who were exposed and military connected. So either service members or service members and their families, and some contractors. We have gone through and done a mass email push recently we had to go in brackets. So that was kind of a rollout that needed to be done. If we had sent 60,000 emails out, we would have been marked as spam and then blocked. A large number of those emails are .mil emails, and those are really complicated to send civilian emails to, especially in bulk. And so being able to access the military population is something that's really important and critical, not only because those email addresses are difficult, but because they're no longer here in Hawaii. Most of you probably understand that military families are here probably 3-4 years, and then they're on to the next assignment. Right now, our enrollment numbers do show a global dispersion of people who are signing up for the registry. So we have people in Germany, we have Georgia, Guam. So it is a big task, especially for me as the Director of Community Engagement, to find 93,000 people who are all over the world. So help is very much appreciated in getting the word out and being able to share.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the Navy helping at all?
Yeah, actually, first of all, the funding that we received, the University of Hawaii received $27 million through the NDAA. Congress actually required that it come out of the DoD's pocket, so they're fiscally responsible. But beyond that, the Navy always invites me to their open houses. So anytime they're out giving updates, which there's one coming up, I think in September, I just got an email about it inviting me. And then I'm always at the FTAC meetings. They welcome and invite me there. We've gone to the Red Hill Clinic and been able to meet the staff who work with the patients, if there are any in attendance, but they're very much helpful. Yeah.
Can
Okay,
you
and
explain what FTAC is for those who
I
don't know?
apologize. Yeah, acronyms. I'm usually pretty good at not jargoning. The FTAC is the Fuel Tank Advisory Committee. It meets biannually right now. There's talk about wanting to make it quarterly, but currently it's only twice a year. So that is, for a while there, they only spoke about Red Hill, but because Red Hill is already shut down, the fuel is already removed from the facility. So the threat to the aquifer is removed. So now during the FTAC meetings, they talk about more sites rather than just the one. So other underground fuel storage tanks.
yeah, I know there's still concern about the contamination because the fuel, that went through
plume.
the basalt
Yeah.
rock.
Yeah, there's a plume in the aquifer.
Right.
And so there's researchers in UH, the Navy is trying to track and monitor that. I know that the Board of Water Supply does a lot of extra testing with the wells in the area to hopefully catch if a plume comes near a well so that it doesn't get sucked up and redistributed into the system.
Well, thank you very much. Any more questions in-house? Bruce?
sir.
I have one question. I don't know if it's related to the spill at Red Hill, but what I've noticed is that within the last 4 or 5 years, in our toilets, there's been like a black ring showing up inside the toilet. And prior to that, we never did have that. So, and I'm in the Head-Kapahulu area.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, is that one of the signs that there is pollutants in the water or?
So saying the word pollutants is more than jet fuel, so I definitely can't answer that question. And then as far as is it potentially the fuel, I can speak from experience, and this is me taking off my registry hat because I did drink the jet fuel. We lived on Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam for 6 years. My husband retires next year. But we had the oily sheen on our water, and we didn't really have any of the smell. And also, like if the water was running, I could run a lighter that was lit under the running water and it wouldn't go out. There were people who had nauseating stench in their homes. It smelled like the gas station spilled everywhere. And they could pour a bowl of standing water and light that on fire. So there was a whole range of cues, I guess, if you will, but I didn't see anything in my toilet like that. Then again, I was pretty consumed with every day looking, see if there was a sheen. It was mentally stressful time.
Okay, thank you very much. Anybody online have any questions? We don't see any. Thank you so much, Tara, for coming. Really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Jazz will be continuing to come during months going forward. And if there's updates, she'll just give an update real brief during public comment and always be available if there are questions at any time. I would direct your question probably towards the Board of Water Supply, since that's probably who your provider is. But
is there anybody, any particular attention being paid to all the school children that were affected?
So there was, at the time, my daughter was attending Radford High School, which is on the water line, but then there's lots of elementary schools, on base and nearby. So the schools were definitely trying to help the children as much as possible. I don't know if you are aware of this, but when a family is displaced, like we were displaced into the hotel, we were considered homeless at that point. And so there's different resources that are available to children when they are homeless. And it applies in those instances, which was actually quite helpful because the commute from JBPHH all the way to Waikiki and back just to shower, trying to find a place to eat, it was incredibly difficult. And the kids took a really strong toll and it hit their education pretty hard. It also happened during the Delta surge of COVID. So we were already in the middle of, fight or flight crisis kind of a mode. And then we added this extra layer. You go from the messaging being stay home, the only place that's safe is your home, to your home poisoning you. And so you know, the kids did take a toll. As far as what we do today, we have our educational materials, and none of it strictly focuses on children yet. As we collect more data and we can see possible trends and be able to report back some more data in that way, that would be the key right there, is to see if children were impacted differently. Because we had women who were pregnant, we had women who were breastfeeding, and then we had toddlers all the way up to Kupuna and retirees. So.
Well, thank you again very much for all the work you do.
Can I ask one last question?
Absolutely.
And thanks for sharing your story. I was curious, I know this might be outside the scope of the registry, but do you know if there's any conversations about ongoing housing development over in that area with the water concerns?
That is not something I'm aware of.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay. It's okay. I was just curious if that came up in conversations.
No worries. Thank you. All right. Have a good night.
All right, thank you. Okay, now we're on to board business. See the time. We have about 15 minutes left. Linda, do you have any reporting on your permitted interaction group? Linda?
There. Okay, yes, I do. Picture going.
All right. Can
Maybe
continue,
Curtis
Linda.
can fix this. I don't know what's the matter. So that
We can hear you. We can
Okay.
hear you, Linda.
Okay. We met, the three of us, Michelle and I and Amy, and we went over the brochure that the neighborhood commission office put out, and it seemed blatantly it just didn't it focused on um people, and it didn't focus on what it should have. They put out a brochure and they called it neighborhood meetings, and we're neighborhood board meetings. There were like a lot of glaring things like that in their brochure and in their literature. So we made note of that, and so we put a complaint. We went to the neighborhood commission office, meeting, the commission meetings, and we voiced our complaint. And what happened was the head of the neighborhood NCO immediately called, made another brochure, and he called one neighborhood board and let them comment on the brochure that he was remaking, but he never considered us, the complaining board, to get our input. So that was a faux pas, if you will. And so we went through the whole brochure that the neighborhood commission office put out, and we corrected it. And that's in the drive, and it's been there for quite some time. And then we also in the drive is a narrative that just a short one of when we met and what we did and what we came up with when we changed the brochure. So also we discussed to forward our findings in our corrected, if you will, brochure, because it minimized the neighborhood boards. It said we go to plantings, and it's just like we were a little community garden or something, not to jeopardize them. But so we were handing that, we put that in the drive, and we want to further there was talk after, which I won't get into because it didn't happen at the committee meeting. So it's grown. Michelle would probably be better with that because she has the committee. You could ask her what happened after and how it's been brought to bear to go out to the public. So
All right.
that's the report.
Great, thank you, Linda. Michelle?
Well, actually, this extends farther than a permitted interaction group. The permitted interaction group, and I don't know if this is considered Linda's final report, it's just an update, but we've been told at board meetings that if it's an update or a report, the committee, the permitted interaction group is killed right after that. So that means you cannot go forward. You cannot look at revisions. You cannot look at other opportunities that are created for better brochures. And you cannot communicate with the commission that's making these decisions. The Neighborhood Commission Office constructed this brochure in and of themselves, put their logo on the front page, like they are running the show, and the city's logo is right next to it. Then they put their information on the back. All these things were brought up.
Speaking to the mic, Michelle.
All these things were brought up at the committee meeting. You know, Linda was really on top of this. When she came to a board meeting, she saw this brochure that was not even announced to our board. It was just sitting on a table. And it is not about the board or the process. It's simply a marketing brochure. We're not in the marketing business. We're in the public service and public interest business. So that's why the brochure, it's an example taken from the original with yellow highlighting with suggestions and recommendations for a far more appropriate format. The second brochure, I believe that the NCO put out, that we found out about remotely, they took out a very important piece showing the history of the boards and also the list of all the boards. That's important information for the public to have. And to understand how the neighborhood boards actually were founded, how they progressed from the first few boards into 33 boards island-wide. And I really believe that the neighborhood commission chair and vice chair need to weigh in on what is the most beneficial for the public through the neighborhood board information and how it is presented to the public. Not the other way around, not how the neighborhood commission is presented to the public. So we're not finished. And this, if this was a report that says this group is going to be killed, I have a very strong suggestion that we form a special subject committee specific to following the brochure process, completing it for the benefit of all the boards, not the NCO. And if we want to disband, not kill the permitted interaction group, but disband it and replace it with a special subject committee, that will give us the opportunity to continue with the discussion and the process and the board be represented before the commission.
Okay, what's the process of getting that done? Okay, so we'll put it on next month's agenda.
To clarify, on next month's agenda, it's the action item to establish a special committee, correct?
Yes, that's what you said.
Okay, okay. Just to confirm. Thank you.
The action item would be to dissolve the pig.
It's already
Oh, the
dissolved.
pig.
Yeah, once you report out the pig, or sorry,
right.
According to the city, it is a permanent interaction group. They don't like the acronym. So once a permanent interaction group reports, it automatically dissolves. Hence Michelle's request to put on the next agenda or next month's agenda to create a special committee for
Okay.
it. Yes.
All right. So we will add that. Okay. Now we are on to announcements. So I received just today from Curtis a couple of announcements that I would like to. One is a notice of application and public hearing of a special management area major permit at one of our neighborhoods. I've asked Curtis if he can add this to the drive so we can all take a look at it. I'd like to look at this in detail too and figure out where it's at and what they're attempting to do. It's a home. It's a SMA major permit application number on empty lot in Kahala.
Not our board district.
It might. Oh,
Oh, Shangri-La, that's Kahala, yeah.
yeah.
It's nearby. It's nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone wants to look at it, they can. We should take
To
a
that
look at it.
point, we have requested information about like different developments along Kapiolani, which is not our boundary. So that I believe is why we got the notice.
Yeah, I think I think it's a good idea to know what's going on. 'Cause the building along the coast affects everybody.
Right. You never know when these developers are going to come in and want to build higher density housing right in our established neighborhoods.
Exactly. Then we have another notice that there's going to be a public hearing by the Department of Planning and Permitting. And this is Friday, September 11th. And it says, the purpose of this public hearing is to adopt the proposed Title 20 DPP Administrative Rules, Chapter 32 Rules governing the OHPC hereinafter referred to as rules. And there's a list of what it is. And it's a public hearing.
That's the
Yeah,
Oahu
and it's,
Historic Preservation
yeah, the
Commission.
Historic Preservation Commission hearing notice. We put this on the drive. Okay. Okay, perfect. Oh, and there's a dog, the Shangri-La. So we got an invitation. Please join us for a community celebration of International Dog Day at Bark Park. And that is going to be Wednesday, August 26th, 2026 at the Clark Hatch Bark Park at Diamond Head. Is that the private one?
Yes, they
Yes.
renamed it in honor of the founder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that sounds like a lot of fun. So that will be announced as well. Okay, that's see. Sub-district reports. St. Louis Heights, Julia, is she,
Oh,
or it's Angie?
Yeah, if it's okay, I can speak on hers. We are doing sign waving. We did this past Tuesday ahead of Hokulani School, and we're doing it again this coming Tuesday at the intersection of Dole and St. Louis Drive. Basically, school's back in session. Please be safe. I think that's it going on right now. We have a few different issues that we're working directly with the council member about. But if you guys want to join us next Tuesday, please do. It's from 7 to 8-ish a.m. But otherwise, look out for kids and parents as they go to schools.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Angie. Then next we have Sub-District 2, Anthony.
No report.
Okay. We have Linda Wong, this Sub-District 3.
Yes, I don't know, I lost my, oh, here it is. I don't know how to turn this back on.
There's
yeah,
a minute
the
left,
picture.
Linda.
Pardon?
There's a minute left and we're going to be cut
Okay,
off.
quickly, there are 6 more monster houses, all on Noella, all having like 8 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. And they're huge, they're worth a lot of money. And so there's a trend going on. Either one person or a group of people are developing all these monster houses, and they all happen to be on Noella. I'll bring the addresses next time, and we can list them. But they're
right,
all
thank
on
you.
Noella. They've got a huge amount of bedrooms and bathrooms and no other changes.
Could we get those addresses? We can look them up online and get the information of the owners and from the tax map keys.
They were listed on a circular I got from real estate. I don't remember the name. Margaret might know what it is, but I can find it and give it to you maybe next week. But it's all
Okay.
listed on that listing.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Linda. Laura, you have about
Yeah, just
5
one
seconds.
closing thing. Make sure you have enough water for the weekend, that your car has gas. You have walk around money in case the bank machines don't work, charge your phone. Let's hope we just get a drizzle.
All right, I think that we are wrapping it up for the night. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And we'll see you next time, which will be Thursday, September 10th at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
Mahalo.